Are you recording, Jay, or are we just talking for no reason?
We're talking for no reason. I'm gonna start the show. It's like every time we say anything off the show, it's like, why are you talking to me?
So are there people? That's how me and Brian always were. We
And the
we wouldn't
best,
even text each other most of the time about anything for that reason.
Yeah, Mark and I
the
barely.
best is once the show starts, no one's listening anyway.
Do y'all when you start the Twitch feed, do people see this stuff ahead of time, or does it not open up until you open it?
It doesn't open until I open it. I opened it like a couple minutes ago.
Yeah. Okay. So I like when people can see that kind of stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
Jay, do you see me? Do you see me in it now?
I don't. I don't know why you're not in the room. And
do you see me now?
No. And we have two. So you'd put us, if you have an average of 3 viewers for a whole month, you get affiliated, and then you could get revenue and stuff.
Nice.
And we have 2, and all we needed, Mark, is to join the room, and he can't figure out how to do it.
I would do it, but I'm afraid that my internet problem's going to get worse if I do that.
Yeah, no worries.
I can actually see the live feed right now, and it's still not working.
I don't know. Whatever. Are you logged in?
If you're not, maybe that's a good question.
Yeah, that's probably.
I don't even know how to log in. I'm a moron.
You're useless. Thank
you. I really am. Where's the login thing?
All right, I'm gonna start the show. If you could figure it out while the opening song comes on, that'll be awesome.
Okay. Maybe I should download the app.
Hello, baby. Hello, nasty. Hello there. Hello. I say hello. Hello, friend. Well, hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends. Hello, operator. The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Brink of Sanity, episode 359, if you're keeping track. I am Jay, and with me is Mark and Rob. How you guys doing?
Good. I can't seem to figure out how to log into Twitch. I must be a goddamn moron. There's no login thing here.
That's good. We're doing shows live through Twitch now, so you can follow us, twitch.tv/crumpledbacon. No space.
Okay, I'm downloading a goddamn app. You're making me use up more room in my phone because I have to log in through the goddamn app. Everything's a goddamn app now. We can't go to the website. You have to go to the fucking app.
I wanted to win a PlayStation 5, and Burger King was having the spend more than $5 and you can win a chance to get a PlayStation 5. And so all you have to do is put in your receipt information. Their website didn't work. You actually had to download the app to put in your receipt information to do it. So that was.
But you got Burger King.
I did get Burger. I live a block away, and I only get it like 3-4 times a year. I'm pretty proud of myself for that. If it was a Taco Bell, I'd be 400 pounds.
Yeah, that'd be a problem.
I have a problem with Taco Bell.
Okay, I'm trying to remember now. I'm trying to enter the goddamn code.
That's good. I want the play-by-play. Thank you. It's very riveting radio. You trying to log into a website. Rob, how you
doing? I'm doing it so I can log into our Twitch feed. Okay. Do I want notifications? I never want notifications. I don't even want to know this is happening on my phone.
You don't want to know when we're live? It's important stuff.
Okay, now I have to find the live channel for this show, and God, why isn't I'm following one show? Why can't I find the one show? Holy shit, this is annoying.
It's the only show you need to follow, really,
though. Oh God, I have to look for crumpled bacon. How do you come up with crumpled bacon?
It goes way back to my public access show in the early 90s. And
go on.
My I guess co-host on that show, we were having dinner at my family's house, and my dad said, "Can you pass the crumpled bacon?" And we had never heard that term before, and we thought it was the funniest shit. And we worked it into the second episode of the show, where a creepy old man keeps asking for crumpled bacon. And so the name kind of stuck, and now that's my PlayStation name.
Is it crumpled or crumbled?
Crumpled.
With a P or a B?
You know what? The real thing might be crumbled, and I changed it to crumpled because I'm an idiot. Maybe that's.
But it's funnier. I mean, that makes it even worse in a great way. But I think it is crumbled.
Oh,
I think you're just making up words now, Jack.
That's very, very possible. I mean, we also, whenever we got letters, I mispronounced pretty much every person who wrote letters to us. So
it's okay. I'm good at not pronouncing anything correctly.
Yeah, that's true. You're not much better. So
yeah. So we have Rob here today. He is from Alabama. He's going to tell us how Alabama is winning the war against COVID.
He's
Tell
actually
us.
he's actually from Jersey.
Yeah, I want to make that correction very well known, as fast as humanly possible. Yes, I am from New Jersey. I currently live in Alabama.
Do
Uh,
people do that all the time? You're like, oh, like you meet people in the state. You're like, oh, where in Alabama you're from? Well, I'm from Georgia. It was over the line. I was 10 feet over there when I was born. I'm not from this fucking hellhole, but Birmingham. That's where we live.
well, and frankly, Georgia wouldn't be a major improvement in most ways. So no, yeah, I everyone who knows me even partially is very aware I'm from New Jersey. It's probably one of the first three things I will tell people. And if you put Jersey on like the ranking scale, that says a lot about Alabama. Too.
Just this. What would you rather? People think you're from Alabama, or would you rather have COVID?
I am almost 100% certain that this game is how we ended the last episode I was on. Like, literally verbatim how we ended it.
You know what? I don't even think I really quite recall that, but I actually have a couple of those hypotheticals for this episode.
Oh dear God. Okay. Great.
So anyway, so I'm guessing based on your lack of answering, you prefer the COVID over being from Alabama.
I mean, at the rate we're going, it's going to be both.
I'm going to have it anyway and live here. So, yeah.
Hasn't it gone from basically when it first was happening, like you might not have known anyone that had it, or like one person, or like it really wasn't that many. And now you're like, like half the people I know have had it.
Well, I mean, if you notice, Bry isn't on this episode, and there's a very good reason for that.
Bry's got
COVID. Yeah, that's not even a joke.
Not a joke.
No.
He'll be on at some point soon to tell us about. He survived, so he'll be on to tell us about the experience of having COVID.
He really thought he was going to, though.
You don't think he's going to tell us in the show?
No. I thought he thought he wasn't going to make it. That's how bad it was.
Well, let's save the no spoiler alerts, Jack.
Now I can't talk about stuff on the show. Before we were talking, and I couldn't talk before the show.
I want to just this is for the show. I said to Rob before, he's a New Jersey Net fan or Brooklyn Net fan or whatever the hell they are, or used to be. I was just saying that the Nets are the dumbest team name in all of sports. Basically, someone just pointed at something in the gym and goes, "That's our team name." It's like being named the rims or the backboards. Jay was saying, you think there's a name that's dumber in all sports?
I think White Sox is dumber.
So I guess that is kind of like, what are you wearing? I'm wearing socks. That's yours are red. You'll be the Red Sox. That's pretty dumb also.
I mean, at least the Nets is on a basketball court. The White Sox is just kind of like an article of clothing.
Yeah, I guess it's the article of clothing versus like the parts of the game.
But you might be wearing White Sox and not be on the team. Like you're not even. It's not even necessarily a sport relevant name.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the team name came from like the 1900s or like late 1800s. Do you think White Sox was like code for we don't like black people? Like, was there like any kind of racial element to all of this?
I don't know. I know there's like a history behind all these stupid names. Like I know there's a history behind Red Sox, but I don't know the history.
I don't know it either.
Yeah.
They weren't very creative. Okay. That's what I'm saying with baseball names. They weren't very creative.
I mean, a lot of them, like the Knicks, are like from the Knickerbockers, which my understanding was like a kind of like pair of jeans that New Yorkers wore.
Yeah, it was some sort of pantaloons.
Yeah, so the Knicks. I mean, I guess all these names are pretty stupid. What's the best team name in all? It's going the other way. What are the best names in all sports?
I think Titans is really good.
Titans is good.
Okay, yeah.
Quebec Nordiques. I feel like that's got a mysterious allure to it.
Vikings. I like Vikings a lot.
Vikings are a good one. That's always
I think football has most of the good ones. Like I think Raiders is good.
Raiders is good.
Giants.
Yeah.
What do we do here? We pack stuff. We're the Packers. not quite as good.
Packers not great, but
not as good.
I feel like football has the most good names.
Ravens aren't bad. Browns, I'm not clear on what the Browns are.
Yeah, I'm not.
Might want to go back to an earlier question.
Yeah, Browns seem like again like something's not right here with how you're. Now I do like the Washington. We're not going to use a name now if you can't let us use a racist name.
I hope that never ends. That is such a little fun subplot right now.
They should have changed the name
Washington
to
football
Redacted.
team.
I think Redacted would have been funnier.
I thought they should have gone the other direction. Just had like the Washington N-words. Just go like, oh, you'd like us to use Redskins now, wouldn't you?
Or just make it the longest name, like whatever PC garbage you guys are okay with at this point. Like that's really the whole name.
But has there ever been a better FU from an owner to a league than just being like, fuck it, no name.
Yeah.
Tough shit.
Yeah.
Your broadcasts are going to be stupid now because we're just going to embrace this. It's a pretty ballsy move.
I like it.
Rather than just picking the White Sox or some shit like that and living with it.
Yeah.
No, that's totally. So what are the if you're a Redskins or I guess a Washington football team fan, are they calling them the no names? Is there like a nickname that's starting to stick? The no name sounds like actually kind of a name, like it would almost be like a groundswell that become the unofficial name until it became the official name.
I bet most of them still call it the old name. Like Washington fans probably still call it the Bullets.
You think they still call it the Bullets?
I still call it the Triborough Bridge. I don't call it the Ed Koch bridge.
Oh crap! I can't.
I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah,
when did that happen?
Stop changing those names. The Robert Kennedy. I don't care. This is the name, okay? Yeah, the bull. Again, also they could have gone the other direction with Washington because it just said the Washington Suicides. Like that would have been a great name as well.
To raise awareness.
To raise the rate, to raise the awareness. They should have more names just to raise awareness. Like today, we're gonna play the Philadelphia Bulimics. I don't know, raising awareness.
I feel like that wouldn't catch on very well.
So I want to talk about just switch to a little bit darker of a topic.
The San Antonio stage 4 breast cancer. I feel like it's kind of a downer.
That'd be a bit of a downer. Though I'd like to see what the mascot looks like.
For that. Yeah, exactly.
The mascot's just like a coffin with a pink bow on it.
It'd be unfortunately the mascot just one tit.
Okay, maybe let's move.
So
on.
I'm gonna. I want to switch to a darker topic if you guys do not mind.
Is that possible?
Yeah. So tough. Rob is here. There is a pandemic going on. I'd like to talk about the pandemic if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, let's bring it down a notch.
Okay. So it's not the pandemic you're thinking of, though.
Oh.
By the way, is the Twitch feed? Am I finally in the Twitch room?
You are in. You did it. It's been 3 weeks, but you finally did it.
Okay. So there is a very, very serious pandemic going on.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 weeks ago, or this time before we did a show, we made a prank call to Zappos. You know, Rob, you know Zappos?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. So as a result of that call, the CEO of Zappos, I'm not saying it's related, just this correlation without causation, but the CEO of Zappos, who's only 46 years old, is now dead. Oh, I think there's a pandemic of if we make a prank call, the CEO of that company will be dead in 1 to 2 weeks.
Ooh,
so
the White House.
There was when COVID first started, they were letting their people on the phone talk to you about whatever, like life or therapy.
It was just like keep people company. It was just like keep people company. Whatever they want to talk about, you don't have to sell them shoes. Just chat with them. They ended that policy by the time we did our prank call.
Yeah, we didn't know, and we found out the hard way last episode, and they were not having.
They shut you down.
They were very angry. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he probably was angry because he's like, now our CEO has to die. The pandemic of the Brink of Sanity prank phone calls is upon us.
He's like, I work on commission, asshole.
Do you think anybody was really helped by that service? Like, is there somebody out there that's like, fuck, that Zappos, that talk really?
I bet there was.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's pretty nice if they did that. Good for them.
There are a lot of people. I mean, this is like a lot of people are isolated. A lot of people are lonely. If you're just like, I was calling about my shoes, and they're like, but how you doing, sir? Oh, I can't even see my grandchildren anymore. I haven't talked to a live human being. Like it would just be great. It was probably magical.
Yeah.
Plus, it's probably good publicity for them.
I mean, I went for a walk the other day, and this old lady started talking to me under the subway, but she was talking low, and she had a mask on, and the subway was passing every 5 minutes. So I was doing a lot of guessing what she was saying and nodding, and I missed 3 straight lights to cross the street, and I was like, it was very nice talking to you, very nice, but I do have to.
I think what she was saying is, I have COVID. I'm breathing it on you right now. And Jay's trying to listen, Wait, hang on. I'll remove my mask. I can hear you.
Wait, so are you guys both? I say really as if it's like hard to believe, but are you both at the point where like a significant amount of people you know have had it, or you know a handful
I
of
wouldn't say a
people?
significant. I mean, it is seems to be a good amount though. Like I play this mobile game on my phone,
Mhm.
and I'm in like a guild, and like 3 people from that guild got COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So like it's definitely like prevalent where a lot of people are
So,
getting it.
Jay, a lot of people from your online imaginary world have it. That's crazy.
Yes.
And
Um,
for the record, not asking that in a way that like I don't think like our numbers are terrible here, but like anecdotally, I only have like a few people who are like even tertiary people in my life that have had it personally.
so it's a lot of people like Rye obviously had it. The people like someone I knew from work, someone else my wife knows from work has it.
Yeah.
The people like it was after like the initial lockdown when people were a little more started getting a little more open. You started like seeing your
Mhm.
neighbors again. You're like, oh, that neighbor had it, and that neighbor had it, and that neighbor had it. Holy shit!
The thing
Um,
is, a lot of people I know that had it have had lasting effects for months, and
Yeah, that's
that's
the
the
case with me
shit that
too.
scares me. Like,
Yep.
what? So that's actually I haven't known anyone. I have not known anyone who's really had a lasting effect. My uncle had it also pretty bad, but he's fine now.
mhm.
What? And I found out the other day my cousin had it also. But what lasting effects have you heard about?
Well, my friend's grandpa was deaf, so that's pretty lasting.
He died or
Yeah,
death?
but,
Okay,
but like,
okay, that's because I felt bad when you said death, but now dead is worse.
yeah, no, but the other people, they would be like, I go up and down the stairs once,
Yeah.
and I'm like out of breath. Like, I get up out of bed, and I have to like sit there and like catch my breath, and like a lot of stuff like that. Which breathing is what triggers my anxiety. So like getting COVID would just be like a permanent anxiety attack for me.
I know one of my buddies who is like a marathon runner, like great shape,
Mm-hmm.
way better shape than I am. That's exactly his version. Was it just he had it? He never had it horribly, but he had it a long time, and he still is having shortness of breath. Just, I mean, it's been like 3 months, and it's still just like sticking with him that way.
Can we share messages via this we're on Zoom? How do we share messages? I want to send you guys something.
I don't think you can.
Well, that's great. Zoom sucks.
You can share your screen if you want to pull up like an article or something.
I'm not going to do that.
It's
You
like
can
a
see
whole
all the
click
porn
away.
I'm looking at. Someone sent me a video of a side effect from COVID where this guy didn't have even the worst. Actually, no, he had it actually pretty bad. Sorry, but he was in the hospital. His tongue blew up to be 10 times the size of his regular tongue.
Nope, don't like that.
Oh, that I don't like.
Oh,
I
it
don't
is
like
so
that at all.
disgusting. They had to do an operation to like reduce the size of his tongue.
No, I am not
See,
on board with that.
They keep statistics on like mortality rate, how many people die, and that's important, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't we keep statistics on people who have shitty side effects also, just to scare the fuck out of the public? Because you're like, oh, what's the big deal? I know all these people are totally fine. Yeah, you might have a gigantic tongue that make you look like a freak. I'll just stay inside. It's cool. I don't need to hang out anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's move on from COVID because
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about COVID the entire episode.
No.
What the fuck's wrong with you? Hey, so Jay, I have a question. You're still looking for a new job, right?
sure am.
Okay, so I got something for you. Do you know? I don't know if you're aware of this, Rob, but Amazon apparently is hiring 1,400 workers a day. Have
That's
you
a
heard
lot.
this?
That is a lot.
They've added 430,000 new employees since COVID had started, or since 2020 started. So Jay, I can't imagine all 1,400 jobs are just shit jobs. There's got to be some jobs that are good jobs there,
Mhm.
and it seems like their hiring policy is you're hired, you're hired, you're hired. I mean, they have to just say that as fast as they can all day. They have to hire all these people. Have you tried Amazon?
I haven't seen an accounting job for them.
Do they have anything else you could do there?
I want to do an accounting job.
Oh, well,
Seems
fine.
like you went through a lot of schoolwork.
Yeah, I feel
to
like if I-
not take an accounting job.
if I-
I mean,
if
they're
I got-
hiring 1,400 people a day. There's got to be one accounting job every day.
I feel like if I got the CPA and my next job wasn't an accounting job, I've kind of failed in life. So
Could you
lot of
could you
questions.
call Amazon just be like, I heard you're hiring 1,400 people a day. Can you hire one fucking person into accounting
seriously,
and curse when you ask?
literally, I'll change my title on my resume to fucking accountant.
Sir, is this
How-
about your order? Yeah, I'm ordering you to hire me for accounting. God damn it.
How much has your Amazon ordering gone up in the past 9 months?
Well, actually, let me just tell you, I have we haven't actually there's a magic trick we do in our house now. I'm just gonna tell you, every time we open the front door, there's an Amazon box. No matter what time of day we do it, there's always an Amazon box. It's fucking magic.
Yep.
I haven't increased too much. It's definitely more than before, but not as much as I guess other people.
Yeah,
Um,
ours is we're in your situation of it has reached a point where I have felt bad about it. Like legitimately, like I
Holy
clicked on that. You know the thing now where you can say, "No, I'll wait longer. Just
yeah,
bring these all on the same day."
I
I
do
hit
that.
a guilt level of actually doing that, which I never thought I'd get to.
I do that to get the dollar credits, and then I always forget to use them before they expire.
I've been doing that for the dollar credits also because I'm like,
I
I
didn't
need
even
this.
know there was a dollar credit. I just felt horrible.
Yeah, if you
They'll
say
do.
wait longer, you get like a dollar towards like digital purchases.
Oh crap! I have to do
Yeah,
that
they
then.
don't
'Cause we
always
rent
order it,
movies,
but
right?
if you don't really need anything that you don't need it that fast, it's a great deal.
And
But
if you say if you want 5 things, hit hit send 5 separate times, and you get the $5 credits, and then you can like rent a movie.
Oh, and then you put it. Yep, that's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
the
So,
it's gotten so bad in our household. My 6-year-old daughter does an impression of my wife now, where she just goes, "Mommy, you're just at your phone going buy, 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 buy. I'll buy crap. I'll buy crap. I'll buy crap." And that's literally what she says, and it's literally what we do. Also, it's on
Yeah, same.
I'd say our average monthly spending on Amazon has gone up 4 to 5 times what we were spending before.
I would honestly guess it's probably the same. There's
Yeah.
some mental
Plus,
thing going on of like this can opener on Thursday is going to really fucking turn Thursday around.
it's gonna
Like
change
it's like
things. Yeah.
I almost need the anticipation of that can opener to like just smooth things out a little bit
You're
and
like
feel
lining up cans on the counter in
yeah,
anticipation
like
of
this
this
is going to
moment.
be fucking great.
Which
These
one's gonna be the
hoarded
first
green
can?
beans of mine are going to be wonderful.
I'm also wondering if I'm creating some soap opera out there because, like, I also have Walmart and Target coming here. Where's the Target guy's like, oh God, it's the Amazon guy. He thinks he's so cool. Whatever. Target's cool too.
You're gonna have like a 3-person delivery melee on your front lawn one day.
What is it? Why are these two people fighting in your front lawn? I don't know. I just said the Amazon guy was doing a good job, and the Target guy just punched the Amazon guy.
You should tape off areas on your porch for each one and make one of them smaller and see if it causes some problems.
The Zappos guy, you're not allowed to come within 12 feet of the house. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, put Zappos in like the middle of the backyard. Like just make them make them work for it. So you wanted me to explain to Rob our Facebook page on the show.
are we gonna talk about that now?
Yeah. What? Now you don't want to talk about? I'm gonna fucking kill you. Jeez. What would you like to talk about, Mark?
I have just so many things I'm going to talk about, Jay. Why do we have to bring up your subject?
It's your show. Just go whatever you want to talk about.
So, Jay,
I'm fucking real.
Jay, go on, Jay. Tell Rob about the.
Can
By the
I?
way,
Or
did you think crumple was a word?
I thought crumpled. I honestly thought that's what he said on this magical day 25 years ago.
I was thinking maybe you didn't use the B because you were like, well, no one's going to have crumple because that's not a real word.
I think crumple's a word.
Crumple, big. I don't even know. I'm too
I
stupid to
think
know
like
the
your
answer.
clothes can be crumpled in a pile,
Yeah, if you
right?
take a piece of paper, you crumple.
Yeah, no, you're
it.
right. You're right. I'm just an idiot. Go on, Jay. Tell him about Facebook.
Okay, so we made a Trump page in 2016, and our goal was to have it be a. Sorry if we talked about this last episode. Mark insisted we retell the story.
I did not think we talked about this last episode at all because you know what? I'm positive because we only started doing this like 2 weeks ago.
We might not have. I'm just apologizing in advance if we did. So we made a Trump page in 2016. We meant for it to be a legit like news site, but 3/4 of the people that we had like a big group of people, they all dropped out after like 2 posts, and it was
Wait,
just me and Mark.
We didn't have that. The story, just to interject a little bit, we had another friend who thought it'd be a brilliant idea to make a Trump page because right when Trump got elected, he's like, this will be the I think he thought it'd be like an all-encompassing source for all Trump news.
There was other people involved too, and they dropped out too.
Yeah. So, but the person whose idea it was like, we did all this work to get it going, and then he's like, I asked at work, and work's not fine with me making a Facebook page about Trump, so I'm not going to do it. Okay.
Yeah, he asked
we
his boss if it was okay.
Why would what?
Yeah, Yeah, we were pretty annoyed about that too. So obviously the boss said no. He dropped out. Two of the other people dropped out. So then it's just me and Mark, and we're like, well, we already have the Knicks podcast. We already have this podcast. We don't have time to do like an all-encompassing news website. So we
Wait,
dropped it.
let me tell Rob. My idea was just to interject again, Jack. I'm
Yeah,
just
because I have questions
You-
already.
Yeah.
So we came up with the page and we called it Donald Trump Happened. I said to Jay, Donald Trump will be big, obviously big.
Mhm.
And I said to him, why don't we just rename the Brink of Sanity podcast the Donald Trump podcast? We changed nothing about the podcast. It just has that name. And I guarantee the downloads will go up. Jay refused to do this in 2016. We'd probably be the most popular podcast in the land if Jay had done this. But
I don't know. I feel like it would have got a lot of initial downloads, but they would
You'd
have
get
been
a
pretty.
bump, yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't know that you two are gonna pull off long term the
Yeah.
what Trump fans are looking for.
Yeah, it's like
How-
clickbait. You rope a lot of people in, but they don't stick with you. It's all about retention.
I just think it'd be hilarious that was our entire prep. Just like you're like, but this they don't talk about Trump at all. At all.
Well, we
They
did.
didn't even bring it. I don't think they brought up politics the last 3 episodes.
I don't know if you remember, we did 3 straight episodes with a co-name. We said this is Brink of Sanity episode 302 and Donald Trump Happened episode 1. We did that.
Oh,
for
you really did release the podcast in this version, right?
Yeah, we did.
So wait, was the podcast actually called Donald Trump Happened? Does that podcast still exist?
No, we just said it on the show. I don't think we made
Any effort to actually get people to like know
I didn't
about
make
it?
a separate feed or whatever, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, we have a separate feed. Just saying on the show. I mean, who gives a shit on the show? Like,
So-
we're not like I want to draw in new and unsuspecting.
You want the
morons.
numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, abandoned it. 4 years later, we look and there's 1,300 people that joined the page,
Oh no.
and they're all
Jay, every 2 weeks, Jay's like, our Brink page, we're not getting any more likes, but there's 50 new likes this month for Donald Trump Happened. We haven't posted in 3 years.
Yeah, so eventually we got up to 1,300, and I look, and they're all hardcore Trump fans. They just saw
Sure.
the name and his photo, and didn't see any posts, which were
There were
clearly
like three posts like on there.
yeah. But
in
one of them
4
was
years.
like, impeach now, replace later, or something like that. Was one of the 3 posts, and so they're all hardcore Trump fans. And so we decided to post the most ridiculous articles possible, and they're going for every single one. I mean, I posted a picture saying,
But like
"This
you're doing
isn't-
that now.
right now."
the
like
last 2.5, 3 weeks we've been doing it.
We must have
and
posted
it's-
like 150 times in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. After not posting for 4 straight years, we have released 150 posts in the last 2.5 weeks. We've lost like 3 likes. We're not gaining any new traction, but for some reason we're not losing
It's
people
not enough.
either.
Are people
And, like-
commenting on them?
They're sharing,
Yeah.
they're commenting, but we'll post the most horrible shit. Like I'll say, this is the image outside the White House right now, and I'll post a picture of 1942 Nazi Germany, and it would be like 5 shares, 70 likes, like 10 hearts, like.
The posts are all over the place. Like, so it's Jay, myself, and one of Jay's friends who are all posting separately as the Donald Trump Happened podcast. And we all have different like
We have different
Wait,
senses
we-
of humor, and we have different
Yeah,
styles
sure.
of writing. So
Yeah.
it's completely like.
And at some point, we noticed that people were like thinking it was the president on some level. So we switched it from being the podcast saying things to like just pretending we're the president.
Mhm.
There's some people that seem to actually think it's the president. There are some people that obviously clearly get it's a joke, and then other people that are like, what? That just they're like, yeah, overthrow the election. Sounds great.
We'll get private messages like, "I just want you to know I'm praying for you," and like
Oh god.
my friend will post like, don't pray to God, pray to me. I'm your God now, and they'll be like, okay.
And,
It's
and we'll do
unbelievable.
things like it'll be today was a post of Wisconsin governor certified state election, and the post is breaking: Wisconsin certified the election for Trump. Like the exact opposite with the article, and people are like, "Yeah, go Trump."
I feel like there's a good movie plot in here somewhere of rather than you guys coming back to it now, it opens with the FBI at your house because some like neo-Nazi group has sort of collaborated within this group that you abandoned years ago, and now you're the culprits.
Well, what I
I
did
mean,
is I created Joe Biden Happened, and I'm hoping 4 years from now we have 1,300 idiot Joe Biden.
We're trying to get them to like troll each other. Like obviously we're doing that, but no one's really caught on to going to the
Not
Joe
fall for
Biden page. But like we're putting like there's everything from like this is a fraud. We must overthrow this election, and I need to put like I said like we need to put William Barr in jail, and people were like, yeah, it sounds great. So I posted the other day. Does anyone know how to build a time machine? Asking for a friend who wants to have a second shot in an election / avoid jail.
Or I'll post like fake facts, and I'll put how Trump was on The Simpsons like 6 or 7 years ago, and I'll put on this day in 2011. Trump appeared on a fledgling, failing show called The Simpsons and vaulted it into, it's just and they're sharing it and like going with it. It's amazing.
And the posts that seem to get the most likes tend to be the most vitriol we have. Like Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, like basically it was like just like he won't overturn the election for Trump.
Right.
And so basically, I basically said Brian Kemp's a piece of shit. Who wants me to lock up Brian Kemp? Lock him up. And like, there's 14 comments of people that want to lock him up.
Of course.
It is unbelievable and there are all these people like, we're with you, Mr. President. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people?
One person,
and yet it's kind of fun to post on these.
Oh, these people. One person posted like, we don't need a vaccine. We just need to pray harder. And I responded and I said, yeah, all those people that died just didn't pray good enough or the right way, and like she liked it, and I'm just like,
oh god,
there's literally nothing I could say.
I've added like into like I'll do a Trump rant and just add the words "come in my face," and no one seems to point it out. So finally the other day, someone was like, "You say filthy things." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "You keep saying come on my face." So I was like, "Yeah, what's that mean? I don't understand."
But the funny thing is, like, that same person will like all the other posts. It's just like that one offended them, but like they believe all the other ones.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah. So basically, if you want to go on Facebook and look at Donald Trump happened,
where Joe Biden happens.
Yeah, no one's on Joe Biden happened. But the Donald Trump happened one is kind of funny to read. Like, see the post and just see, holy shit, what people are posting.
Yeah.
In response, but like. We're getting ones up, like, it's not like it's going viral, but there's like, some of them have like 40 or 50 likes, and like, they're like the most horrifying things we put out there.
One of them got up to like 70.
There are some really, really fucked up things also.
I posted like a semi, like one that it seemed real. I just posted, we're going to keep recounting until I win. And that one got like 70 likes.
That was a pretty funny one.
You need to do the, you know how like the people in other countries who are creating the fake news will build like a fake version, like a simple fake version of one page of a website and post it that way. Just recreate Pizzagate with Trump being the main person in there and just see how far you can go with like actual literally turning the sides on something like that.
So if Russia and China are doing all this misinformation, I now believe they're doing it because it's hilarious and fun.
Yes,
and
sure.
For no other reason. Like,
yeah, they're like, we didn't think this would turn the election. We're just having a good time
because we're having a blast. Like,
but have you seen those? Like, there's some short docs out there about people who are creating the fake news that live in countries where just doing that makes you like virtually the richest person in your country if you're successful. Like, the economy of it's insane.
We got to figure out how to monetize this because I need to move out of the city and.
It's also so I've just added some like so his friend Lucas, who does part of them, will just do things like bashing religion or just having Trump say I am Jesus, and people get upset, but they're not that upset. They're still like go Trump. And then I've kind of balanced it's just some completely random things on here just to like balance out the absurdity to see if like people will be like I put on here. All 7 seasons of The Facts of Life are now available on IMDb TV and Amazon Prime. Lock up Joe, lock up Joe, lock up Joe. And just see what people's response is to having The Facts of Life on the Donald Trump page. But but anyway.
So that's the fun we've been having on that.
Yeah, it's the fun we've been having.
What else did you have planned for our agenda, Mark?
So I had a couple hypos. Just Rob brought them up, so I had
hypos, huh? Yeah, that's pretty hip.
Yeah,
been hanging out with the.
I'll go real quick with these. Jay, and I'm gonna ask you, Rob, the same question. Jay, you have access to the early vaccine. It's gonna be it could be 100% effective. You could have it tomorrow. The only caveat is when you get it, one of your 2 co-hosts here will get COVID. Would you do it? And which co-host do you pick to get COVID?
I would not do it.
Okay, just do it anyway. Which one of us do you want to get COVID?
Just do it.
Does Bry count?
Okay, Rob, same question. Tomorrow, you and your family could be vaccinated and just safe from COVID. Jay and I, we don't even know that well. One of us will have to get COVID. Pick Jay. Who are you gonna pick?
No, I'm not doing it. No, that's not good. Why would I do that? I've gone 9 months. There's a part of me that's very okay with not leaving my house for another 9 months. I'll be all right.
I was
Okay,
thinking that
Jay.
the other day. I could do this for. This is like
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like
this
my
is my
dream
dream.
scenario.
Yeah, no, it's fair.
Like
It
my,
is.
my girlfriend's going
Jay.
nuts in the other room, and I'm just like video games, reading books. Like I could do this forever. And
To a certain extent, Jay doesn't know that we're even supposed to be quarantined. He's just doing this, happen to be doing this anyway.
Yep. Yeah, this is a very like much to my wife. Did you say your girlfriend's the same way with this? Like it is. This whole thing kills her in like every
hates
single way
hates
possible, and I'm like,
it. Absolutely.
yeah,
hates
no, this is all right. This is fine.
I'm like,
It's
this is the moment I've been preparing for all my life. I have all these books and all these video games I haven't played, and I'm ready
Rob,
to go.
how old are your kids again?
Now they are 13 and 11.
Are they in school, or what's the story at school by you?
So that's been a rocky road.
Okay.
They initially put them back in 2 days a week at the beginning of the school year, and that I was one of those people that was like, this is going to last 2 fucking weeks and the whole school's going to be on fire.
Yeah.
And it went like 2 months where they would have 1 or 2 cases in the school system a day, and that's it. And that lasted. Now, who knows how many kids actually had it? So it's a different question. But then we got to post Halloween and it started going up. So they had a period where they were going 5 days from probably late September till around Halloween. They were doing 5 days a week, and now they're back to 2 because the numbers started getting worse.
Okay.
But no, we barely know any kids that have had it in a, who they've transmitted to and who had it horribly after that. We don't know, but not a lot of stories of kids who like really had symptoms or anything either.
I was gonna say our kids are back in school. If the kids were home 24/7, they're back in school 5 days. It's totally the high school's been having a number of cases. The elementary schools have been kind of fine. They and every time there's a case, they'll shut down, like quarantine that class for like 2 weeks. But generally it's been going really well. The kids are actually really happy being back in school.
Yeah, same here.
So yeah, so I'd say this is extremely sustainable for me as long as the kids can go to school. When the kids were at home 24/7 and we're trying to work and balance that's really rough.
And the school stuff was, I know up there, I've heard better stories than this, but the virtual school stuff for our kids has been kind of a joke. I mean, it's 2 hours work and they're back on games.
So in the spring, it was complete garbage for us. In the fall, we were for the first month of school, we were hybrid. And during that hybrid, actually, the online school was actually a lot better than it was in the fall. In the spring.
That's what I've heard in Northeast. Has been
when your kids are at school, we should Twitch during lunch.
Yeah, I'm actually doing work, Jay.
You're working during lunch?
I'm just trying to work.
You work?
I don't really take a formal like hour lunch break. You take that?
Hell yeah. My job is so shitty. Like, if they're not paying me, I'm not working. Like, 12:30, I put my hands up.
You should take it.
And
no, I mean that's totally fair. I'm just like scarfing something down and just going back to work.
Oh no, I will literally watch because this is my work screen. I will watch my phone ring and I will watch the IMs and I will laugh while I'm eating lunch. And I'm watching YouTube and I'm just like, "Fuck you! This is my lunch. You're not bothering me."
Oh, you need this document right now. Oh, it's an emergency. Fuck you. I have 12 more minutes of my lunch break, jackass.
I will literally sit there motionless for 10 minutes. I got 10 more minutes. Fuck you. I'm not doing anything. And fuck those people. I hate them.
So, that's good. You're right.
Yeah, no. Jay in the interview, he's like, so Eddie, what's your strength? My strength is I know my lunch break. I fucking keep my lunch break. Don't fuck with my lunch break.
I bet Amazon fucking loves that.
I set up fake
that sounds
meetings.
like their style.
I set up fake meetings every day from 12:30 to 1:30.
Jay, you sound like you'd be qualified to work in government. That's where you really do that?
I really do. Because these assholes, I'm not even kidding. My phone would ring at like 12:31, 12:32. I've been there like 7 years. They know when I take lunch. They do it on purpose. So I said, well, fuck you. Now I'm doing a fake meeting on purpose.
That's
So I
fucking
see at
gross.
12:30 you have on the schedule a meeting with a ham sandwich. Yeah, it's a long meeting. I'm gonna be there for fucking hour with the ham sandwich.
Yeah.
I'll leave you the hell alone.
Yeah, this chicken parm's not going to eat itself.
Oh God, I would kill for a chicken parm up there.
Rob, is your work day like that? Like, I guess your lunch break. Is your lunch break more sacred than religion to you?
Yeah, I make documentary films, so our schedules are very they're loose. They're
Okay.
they're
Are you
very
are you working on any? What kind of documentaries are you normally
now
doing?
it's not all we do, but no, right now we're doing a lot of stuff for the school. I mean, primarily stuff for it kind of turned to all COVID stuff after that,
Yeah.
um we have a couple podcast documentary type things we're working on.
Mark, do you
Short
find
stuff,
it
but
how
nothing that's
funny how many people I know that are into like video editing related fields?
Rob, can you just give Jay a job? Do you know Jay's dream in life? Honest to God, his dream in life is to be a video editor. All
Is
he
it
wanted
really?
to do,
Yeah,
yes,
that
all
was,
he wanted to do
yeah,
is just
yeah.
his first words out of his mom's uterus were, "I want to be a filmmaker. I want to not a filmmaker. I want to be a film editor."
I majored in radio and TV, and
I was
yeah.
going to say, I remember having this conversation
Yeah.
because of the public access show, but that to me, that's like where, and I have a friend who works at a big podcast company where it's like a real business
Yeah.
type thing.
Mhm.
And our argument all the time is like, I really hate what podcasting has become because I feel like 10 years more, I guess, and now I'm dating us, but like 15 years ago, that was the beauty of it is for people like if you want to be a video editor, podcasting is kind of like a perfect medium to get into because it obviously the equipment's a little less, but like you're scratching the same itches in that world
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
which is why
You
I
just want
started
to
this.
do content that's getting to people.
Mhm.
And now those type of companies have made that not impossible. You can still do it. It's just a fucking hell of a lot harder to get people
Good
listening
luck getting
than it
found.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
There's
just can't
so
compete.
much free, like highly well done stuff out there.
Like
Which I don't even consider the same genre. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like not even what I call podcast anymore. It's just broadcast.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm happy for the fans we have, but good luck finding us when like Conan O'Brien has a podcast. Like,
Jay,
know,
why didn't you try to get a job in podcasting? I mean, obviously, I know you got this whole like accounting thing, like, but you've been working in podcasting as a side project for over a decade. You have some experience.
a little
So
bit,
you'd be like,
bit.
hey,
Only
I have a lot of experience. Don't listen to the
4,000 hours of content, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't you like merge the world and become like a podcast editor? Like, obviously, there are real jobs in this now.
I don't even know if I'd want to do a podcast editing. Like,
you don't,
yeah.
because it's just a farm. It's just
I'm just editing ums and pauses like that. That shit sucks. Like,
what, Rob? Why do you think it sucks, Rob?
Because if you're doing it out for like a big media company, it's just a farm of like, here's the 12 podcasts you're the editor of, and you spend 12 hours a day going through all these episodes doing the worst part of doing a podcast over and over.
Yeah.
And it pays shit because there's another 50 20-year-olds right behind you that will do it for a few years hoping that it's just not I mean,
outside of being like
it.
Outside of having your own like very popular podcast, is there big money to be made as like working on these shows?
No.
I couldn't imagine.
It's the reason I didn't have a career in video editing, because they want you to do this shit for free for years.
Nothing. Yeah.
And it's the same thing with the podcasting. They'll find some college or just out of college person to edit your podcast for free, and they'll want you to do that for years before you actually get paid. And it'll be the same thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jay's dream in life is to be a video editor. Rob, can you give Jay a job? Jay, would you move to Alabama to work to have a job in it? What you want to do?
I don't know. I'm in an interracial relationship. I don't know how that's gonna fly.
I don't know if Alabama is cool with that.
I will defend Alabama for once on this, and like shit like that is. That kind of stuff about Alabama is completely overblown.
Really?
Like that would. Oh yeah, absolutely. Unless you go and as someone from New Jersey, I feel competent in making this argument. You know, if you're in Birmingham or Tuscaloosa or Montgomery, a place you've heard of, that's gonna have no effect on your life whatsoever. If you go out in the middle of the most rural place ever, and you guys walk into a tiny restaurant in that place, you might possibly get a look. but that shit would happen in a lot of shitholes in upstate New York. It would happen in a lot like there's fucking rednecks everywhere. Like that's
I feel
not
like all of America is the South except for like the major cities.
that. I
But
mean,
by the way,
it's
just for
everybody likes to pretend it's like a locale thing. It's a socioeconomic thing on a lot of levels. It's a cities versus rural thing on a lot like that. It's not
Yeah, upstate New
as
York is very like, yeah.
I just want to say Rob is reading word from the Alabama Tourist Bureau.
That's
This
right.
is the,
I'm actually the spokesperson.
we're not as racist or a shithole as you think we are. We don't mind. They don't both. Not everyone has to be white. We're just letting you know that Alabama.
I mean,
we're
honestly,
not as backward as you think.
as someone who has to hire people from out of state to come to Alabama, the hardest thing for me, like the politics, is always the hurdle. It's you just can't. That's the thing that people like. I've had a ton of like freelancers from New York who are sick of doing freelance and don't want to pay rent anymore up there. Apply for not better jobs, but like further up the ladder jobs with us.
Yeah,
and it event like that's one of their first main concerns. It's just like, is this place really as fucking right wing as I think it is? And unfortunately, there's bubbles like where I live. It's not at all, but yeah, predominantly, yeah, it is. Like, there's no way around that.
By the way, Rob was a huge Trump supporter. He's really disappointed in the election, so don't make fun of him for that.
Please, yes.
So
put a moratorium on.
If our Trump site goes really viral, can we just start a rumor that says accountants are immune to coronavirus? Maybe it'll open up some job openings. And
Jay, in my hypotheticals, just what if they said, forget the vaccine. We found that if you run 5 miles a day, you will be immune from coronavirus. Would you? And Rob, you too. Would you run 5 miles a day if that would get you immune from coronavirus? And obviously, that'd be good for your health too. Obviously,
right. It doesn't
you have to actually have to run 5 miles a day.
Does it have to be straight?
It has to be all in one time period.
But I get stopped to walk.
No,
right?
no walking. Just have to run 5 miles.
But I can't. I literally can't.
It would take me like we would all have the vaccine by the time I was up to speed on this.
Yeah,
There'd
like
be no
I used
point.
to be able to do that, like in college.
You'd announce that and people would be like, "That's the cure for it." Fuck it, I'll just get coronavirus. Sounds better than actually doing exercise.
Well, yeah,
but also like being in my house playing video games, also a pretty safe way to live.
True.
That doesn't need to be replaced with this running. So
that's true.
If anything, you're ruining my setup at this point.
I mean, if I could stop and walk, that's fine. But I literally can't do 5 miles now. That was
okay.
Like
what if you can stop and walk, but you have to do it in one.
Like I can't go back into my apartment.
You can't break it up throughout the day. You have to do it all at one time. So you could walk also, Jay.
Yeah, I would do that. My fat ass needs to lose a lot of weight, so yeah, I would do that.
Okay,
that'd be good motivation. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Would you guys pay a 5% privilege tax to be able to work from home? There's a
I'm doing it for free now.
There was I don't have to switch topics, but Deutsche Bank they proposed that to make society more equitable, people that work from home should pay a 5% privilege tax that will help out those that cannot work from home.
Yes, 100%. Yes.
There's a study basically, what was it? And these are not exact numbers, but they say about 60% of jobs that make over 100K, you can work from home. Only 10% of jobs that pay 40K or below, you can work from home. So obviously that's maybe a bit obvious that most of the jobs paying under 40K are more labor intensive. But yeah, would you guys pay 5% to be able to work from home?
I would say no and go fuck yourself.
Rob,
I do the same work as I was in the office. In fact, I'm more productive here, to be honest.
I am too. I've had the same experience.
And so I'm going to make less to be more productive? No.
I have a horrible commute. I live in Birmingham, but I commute to Tuscaloosa, so I'm going 120 miles a day in my car.
Jesus.
Yeah, which is not, granted, Alabama miles, that's like a 45-minute drive.
Yeah, in New York, that's like 7 hours. But...
Yeah, I'd be driving to Pennsylvania at that point.
Yeah.
But gas alone, I'd still come out ahead in that scenario. So I would do it. But even if I wasn't, I would consider it. I agree with your sentiment.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's good for it'd be obviously great if this actually went directly to people who are like less fortunate. That'd be kind of awesome.
Jay, do you not think in your situation, like my wife's an accountant also, and at her job, like
Are you guys just bragging now? I do video editing, and my wife's an accountant. Jay, how are you doing?
I like that video editing slips in there like it's like some prestige job. It's like the worst
By the way,
choice in the world.
if you point out that your brother-in-law owns a comic book store, Jay's gonna kill himself.
We had
It
a
just-
Nick's podcast meetup, and a video editor and a guy who works at a comic store showed up. It was unbelievable.
Actual true. We're sitting at a table of 6 people. One guy's the video editor. One guy works at a comic book store. Jay's just like, oh god.
Oh,
But-
and one guy had slept with my ex-girlfriend. I'm like,
oh,
we only had 3 people show up, and those are the 3 people that showed up. It was like you couldn't write a
The
funny.
guy who works at the comic shop is not really a dream job, right?
No, but it was kind of like funny because it was like all 3 of my
It's in that
interests,
world.
like
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
Just
Jay's
making
kind
sure
of-
we all know that that's actually a nightmare.
video
Like,
editing Asian
Yeah.
women in comic books. Like,
Well, it was like a classic, like I think it was like vintage comic book store, so it could be a decent
okay,
job.
that's better. That's better.
Yeah.
anyway, what were you saying, Rob?
Oh, just that her job, like it is interesting in some of these, like you said, like there's no skipping a beat whatsoever of doing the job from home versus now I think my wife would rather be at her job doing the job. She actually likes going in there, but like it doesn't there's so many jobs that being at home doesn't fundamentally change and makes you work faster because you're like, I'm at home, I want to get this done.
Yeah, exactly. Also, like, I don't know. I feel like when I'm like I said, I have my work monitor here. I can have my iTunes on the screen that I'm talking to you guys on, and like kind of like have like a pleasant background. So it kind of, if I'm listening to music, I feel like I'm more productive. Whereas if I'm in like a quiet cubicle, I get stir crazy, and I get up and I go for a walk, or I just start fucking around on the internet or whatever. Like,
Or other people come bother you like
constantly
20 minutes out of every 60 minutes and slow everything down. Like that's
I had
all-
people like kept coming over to me, and my boss is like, you keep having people come over to you. I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting here working. Like, they're coming over to me. That talk to them.
Yeah.
That's not a me.
yell at the
problem.
people who have left their seat.
Yeah,
That's- that's
exactly.
the
I'm sitting
wrong
here working. It's
approach.
not my fault.
Jay-
I'm fucking hilarious, and they want to come over here. Like,
Jay, when you say a pleasant background, are you just commenting that you can have chatterbait at home without anyone caring?
I mean, I've done that too, but that's that's another perk.
And only from 12:30 to 1:30.
It's a very productive lunch hour. Like, I get a lot done.
It is kind of crazy though. Like, I understand if you're someone that needs to be, if you can't be self-motivated, like if you can't just like, some people have to be in the office to get work done for whatever reason, or if you're kind of new and so you really have to learn the ropes. But if for most of us, not most of us, for a lot of people in their jobs, like you said, like I could be home and do the whole job without being in the office.
Yeah.
And now, like part of my job was like meeting people in person, and no one God's name would ever meet me in person right now. So that's
Right.
even better. I don't want to meet anyone in person.
My
so.
job, the only thing holding us back was that we mailed invoices to the customer. And
Yeah.
for about 6-7 years, we said, let's go paperless. And they said, impossible. Second COVID started, we were paperless within 2 weeks, and a manager came up with it, and then got a bonus, and good job. And
Got a bonus. I like
you-
that also.
you motherfuckers.
You're in we could use this email thing? Holy crap.
You motherfuckers. Yeah.
Well, it
He's
doesn't
like,
make-
yeah, I got a $50 million bonus. And Jay, we gave you a quarter.
Well, to pay for like all that space that these companies are having, like, just floors and floors of space for people who don't need to really be there. And might be distracting each other. Just feels like it feels like that will change a little bit coming out of it.
And my company's in the World Trade Center. They're probably paying $1 million.
Oh, I didn't
per
even know.
floor.
Jeez, I didn't know.
Yeah, they're probably paying $1 million per floor.
It's crazy.
And I'm thinking like the coffee, paper towels, cups, like they're saving tens of thousands of dollars a day on that stuff. We're not going to see any of it, but
Do you think that the terrorists are like, don't you remember back in the day we could fly one jumbo jet and kill everyone? Now we have to fly all these small planes into like all thousands of apartments
All
do the
their
same
homes.
exact damage. It's just not fair. Damn you, pandemic.
you want to do some Facebook questions?
Sure. But by the way, I just on a total side note, because I only just do side notes. Do you guys like the movie Juno?
It's okay. I know where you're going with this already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I guess like I remember seeing that movie and being like, yeah, Ellen Page, she's pretty hot. I'm into her. And then like you'd see her in some other things. She looks a little boyish, but like I'm not. she's kind of hot, and now I'm like, hey, I guess I'm into a transgender guy. I'm not sure. I guess this
I
is where
was
I'm going.
wondering why in season 2 of Umbrella Academy she had hairy armpits, and now it makes a lot more sense. So if you don't know, she is now Elliot Page, and she needs
Is
to be
she gonna
referred to as
get
a
a
he.
dick?
I don't know, but he sent out a letter and said you have to refer to him. I can't even do it. I can't even do it.
It's tricky.
It's
Yeah.
tricky.
It's really tricky. In the article, like I was reading, like they made a point of using the correct pronouns, which totally understand. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's just confusing. I'm like, he. I'm like, wait, they changed the article. Is it not about Ellen Page anymore? And who the fuck is this Elliot guy?
Yeah.
And then like her pronouns are he. It's so hard to do it. The pronouns are he and I think they.
Yeah.
Which also just completely confusing. Why can't it be he and him then? Why are you choosing he and I have a cousin who
I was confused. The they thing confused me too because
it doesn't it throws me. I have a cousin who's I think he was transgender. He may not be transgender anymore. He's like fluid. I'm not sure. He's non-binary, but I find he does the they and them thing. I have to explain to him. It's just too many people are involved. When you say they and them, I'm just thinking you're talking about multiple people.
They is plural. That's got to stop.
Yeah, like I just choose something else. There's another one called like Z, and that's fine. I'll understand. I'll learn to understand that one. I'm not gonna ever understand they and them.
This is also like I don't know. I feel like it's what 1%, 0.1% of the population, and like they're like, yep, everyone else has to like cater to what I want now.
is the they and them part replacing him?
Yeah, that's the so my cousin will talk, and you'll be talking about like how he's throwing a party for and like it's like his friend, but they'll say they and they came over, and I was like, wait, so there's more than one person? No, just Jeff. Anyway, so they were over. Wait, did Jeff bring a friend? No, just Jeff. I'm like, I'm not following this fucking story. I've tried. It's hard to follow, and he claims or they whatever pronoun. I can't even get it. It's so hard to get right. But he claims that I'm getting it wrong now, but he claims that in his world, like no one misses the beat. They know exactly who you're talking about. They understand how they.
When you say they, do you mean one person or a group of people?
I'm like, you mean like your friend understands, or the entire like LGBT community understands?
See, for me, like I understand all this and I want to get it right, but I wish there was just like a pill I could take that would make me say it right because I'm usually so concerned with how fast can I not be talking to another human being in person that I can't add in layers of am I handling this situation right? Like I want to do it right. That is an additional anxiety I do not need.
Yeah, for people like Rob and I who have like social anxiety, like this doesn't
just give
help.
me a pill. I'll take it every fucking day to make sure I say it right. I want to do the right thing. I can't handle another layer of stress in a conversation.
You know, when you're applying to jobs, they actually they ask you to fill out this stuff on applications now.
Yeah.
They
actually.
Like pronouns?
Yeah, I usually hit skip, but they're like, yeah, what are your preferred pronouns?
Yeah,
So
that may not have trickled to Alabama yet. I'll be honest.
So there's someone in my town whose child, who's my son's age. The child is clearly like identifies as a girl. I'm not sure if they think he's not. I'm not sure what exactly like is it non-binary, non-gender, or just does he identify as a girl? I've never actually known. I just know the boy dresses like a girl. Anytime I see the dad, I don't know him that well, but like I see him, he's like I'll just talk to him. And I just work. Every time we bring up the sons or his daughter or whatever, I just use the name because I cannot use anything. I do not use any pronouns when talking to him because I just don't know how to use them.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
yeah.
good for you. That's good effort.
But I'm sitting there like I'm so tired. It's the end of the workday. Oh, I saw this person, and now I have to do the mental gymnastics of not using a pronoun.
That's what I'm saying. That's stressful. Like I just want it to happen the right way without that.
See that is where I get in trouble because I can't remember anybody's name. I have to meet people like 5 times. I actually was I met a girl at a party and I walked her home and I was like, oh, can I get your number? I want to talk to you later. And I realized I didn't know her name. And so she's giving me her number and I said, how do you spell your name? And it was something like really easy, like Nancy or something, and I was like, everyone spells their name all wacky these days. Like, how do you really, do you spell it normally or not? Of course I know how to spell Nancy, and I'm like writing it down before I forget. Like, anyway.
Wait, do
I
you
got,
think not remembering?
I'm going to jump off for like a minute. I have to go to plug. Be right
Okay.
back.
Do you think not remembering names is?
Nice butt shot on Mark.
That's a great
Good stuff.
cinematic moment.
This is the problem with live shows, I guess.
Do you think not is there some correlation with social anxiety and not remembering people's names? Because I'm horrible about that too, and I think a lot of it, like all my friends, my wife's this way too. Like they'll be talking about parents of kids at the school, and they can go like so deep. They can go 100 people deep, know everybody, the husband. How come you don't remember this? I can remember my circle that I want to actually have a conversation with, and everybody else is like, I am fucking like my fingers are the only thing keeping me on this bridge right now.
I
and
feel
I
like
think
that's
maybe my brain just doesn't care to learn them.
Yeah, I think it's a separate issue. I think that's just like an I'm not paying attention. You only hear it once, and
Right.
it's at the very beginning of a conversation, and then like I don't know. Sometimes people tell me their name and I forget 5 seconds later.
Same with me. Like before the sentence is over, and I
Mhm.
tried to do the say it out loud thing to like
Yeah.
associate, but like I just can't. And part of me does think it's just me socially just shutting down and being like, this is a thing I'm not interested in entering my world.
Well, it does work better for me if they say, "Hi, I'm Jeff," and I'm like, "Hi, Jeff," and I say
That's what
it.
I've tried.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it doesn't help me.
That helps for me, but I hardly ever do it. They're usually
It
like,
might help me through that conversation, but not the next time I see that guy. I'm like, I don't know if I've met this
yeah,
guy.
I need to. I am like the master of the one-way intro. I'd be like,
You know what?
"Hi, Rob. This is my friend Rob," and like I won't say the other way, and they'll
Right.
and then it'll get awkward.
And they
like,
have to do the work themselves.
exactly.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
do
like,
that
"Oh,
too.
it's Jeff. It's Jeff." Okay, yeah.
You know what you do? When you meet someone, you're like, "Oh, your name is Jeff." You did a paper.
You
Write
what?
down their name and make them wear a name tag. And just say, next time I see you, you better be wearing this fucking name tag because or else I'm not talking to you.
Or I
In
will.
case we run
kill
into
you.
each other.
Just be like, I made you a name tag. Wear the name tag, Dick.
All right. So Lorenzo writes, "Hey guys, this year for school photos, our kids, instead of using a large, well-known company, the school decided to use one of those parents who is only just starting off in photography. We aren't friends with this lady, but we have invited her and a kid for a play date at our house previously, 5-year-old kid. Needless to say, the group photo is shit. For some reason, it was taken side on. Half the kids are squinting or have the hair blowing in their face. We aren't going to say anything, but what would you do?"
Before I even ask this question, Rob, you have kids. I'm sure you've had the class photos and everything done.
Sure.
Do you goddamn hate the whole photo concept? Like, we all have phones. We all could take pictures. The teacher could just take a picture of everyone. And that's the class photo. I don't need to pay an extra $20 to get pictures every year because the school has to sell this service to me.
Yeah, we do not buy the school pictures ever.
My wife's always like, we have to get it because or else our kid will be left out because if you don't buy it, they don't let your kid take the picture and he feels left out.
Now, ours does not work that way. They take them all, and if you can just choose not to buy.
No, they'll be like, I'm sorry, your dad's just cheap. Let the whole class, everyone, his dad is cheap. Okay, you don't get to take a picture.
Well, that's a lot.
Now, I will say, because we don't buy them, our kids have a very antagonistic sort of view towards this, and it's a great combination because the company that our school uses, they do it kind of green screen and they just plop these different backgrounds and you can choose which background you want for it. And they have some fucked up backgrounds. Like they have like a haunted barn, like shit that like there's no reason makes sense in this scenario. But so my kids will wear, like we have pictures of our kids wearing like skeleton costumes to their school pictures.
That's awesome.
Because they want the haunted barn. So like I'm not against this, but you did touch on a subject that drives me fucking bonkers. The rise, and it might be worse where I live, but like I don't want to say mommy blogger because that's not what it is, but it's in the same world of the mommy photographer thing that has happened over the past like 7 years or so is like rampant here. I would say we know like 1 out of every 6 moms we know is an amateur photographer doing like photo stuff. Now some of them are very good, but for every good one, there is one where the results are exactly what you're talking about.
I would guess also. So 1 out of every 6 is a my photographer. Another 1 out of 6 probably sells like masks. Another 1 out of 6 probably sells some other like pyramid scheme of like,
Essential
oh,
oils.
like yeah, they all all these like I'm gonna work from home and just force my friends to buy stuff kind of thing.
I have a question for you guys. Do you guys go out for walks with your family? Like a
My
whole family walk?
my kids hate walking. I've tried doing it. My kids just get so mad. Like they'll ride their bikes, but they for whatever reason they hate walking. So no, I would totally do that, but they don't.
My wife hikes a lot with the kids, but I am probably like, because I work far away and also am lazy, do not do that as often as I probably should.
Okay, so I asked because I've been going for walks in the morning or
Okay.
in the afternoon, and every single time I walk, there is a couple, or sometimes a couple with like a newborn in a carriage,
Mhm.
or even a toddler,
Yeah.
and they bring a professional photographer. And
What?
every
This is
time I
not
walk,
where this is not where I thought you were going.
not once or twice.
No.
Every day I
What?
walk, I see this, and it's different people every time, and they stage the walk. They're
Oh,
like,
so this is like a photo session walk. Like they're paying for that one. They're not doing it every time. This is a one time a year.
right, but every time I go, it's a different couple because I walk by the water. So
yeah, you're in Manhattan. Yeah,
I'm in Queens, and I walk down to the shore, and I walk along the shore.
yeah,
So
that okay.
it's a cool view, but like every time I go, there's a couple there, and I'll walk into their shot, and I'll see the photographer like roll his eyes and call them back, and they have to like redo this epic walk along the water to get their professional
Sorry to get in
shot.
your way in New York.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Jesus
exactly.
Christ,
Like,
that's ridiculous.
hold on, I will stop my walk so you can take
Yeah,
your professional
shut
photo
down the
shoot.
subway. Let's all fucking give him a moment.
I just
No,
thought that was like,
but that's, I mean, the equal of that is there's 10 spots in our town where like I can go any time of day, any time of week, and guarantee that there is that happening in that
but
location.
that shit didn't happen when we were growing up, right?
No, well, there wasn't
No.
social media to post it on, so you didn't need.
Nobody cares about
picture.
your walk with your family. Nobody likes that. The only people who like that is like grandma. Like nobody likes that.
I mean,
Yeah.
people took pictures obviously then, but like it's almost annoying how valueless pictures are because people will take them every fucking where.
Yeah.
Like you're never gonna look at these pictures. Just enjoy the walk.
The same with concerts and
Yeah,
like,
we've done this. We've done this topic.
yeah, we've
before,
done it to death. But like, just enjoy what you're doing. Like, how often have you looked back on a photo you took or like rewatched a cell phone video? Like, it doesn't.
Oh,
happen.
cell phone videos, forget it. That one's a complete wash for me.
It's really
Jay.
just to post on social media to try and get likes. Like, that's
Jay, if you found out that they were to give the vaccine early to people who were members of the Drake fan club, would you join the Drake fan club if you could get the vaccine?
no.
No, not even get. You wouldn't just go that far, at least.
I'd get busted in 2 seconds. They'd ask me what my favorite Drake song is. I'd be like, got nothing. Can't name
Yeah,
one
I don't
song.
know one. I couldn't name a single Drake song.
I know Started from the Bottom, but I can't
Don't know
even
that one.
talk about it without going into a rant because the guy had millionaire fucking parents and was a child TV star, and he sings a song about starting from the bottom. And I was like, well, I'd love to get to the bottom at some point if that's
Yeah.
starting from the bottom.
Bottom of
Not
the-
to know that much. I guess I don't know much about Drake. Did he really have millionaire parents?
Yeah, and he
I
was
didn't know
on
that.
he was on fucking Degrassi
Oh,
when he was a
God.
kid.
I only sort of knew that,
So
but I've
like,
never seen it.
if that's the bottom, I want to get there at some point.
My honest to God introduction to Drake was on the Toronto Raptors sideline. Like I know him more as that than anything else.
My introduction to Drake was that Sprite commercial where he can't remember his name and then he drinks Sprite and he could say his name into a microphone.
I don't remember,
And I thought it
don't
was a
remember that one.
parody.
but I like the premise.
I thought it was a parody. I thought it was a joke. And for years, I thought Drake was a parody. Then I realized people actually liked him.
We got Facebook questions.
We
do.
do.
Do you have more emails?
No,
Oh,
that was it.
did we answer the question?
I think we did. What would you guys do? Yeah, let's call it yes. We'll call it a yes.
Okay. Do we have any more emails, or should we go to Facebook?
No,
questions?
we're light on emails this week. The Brink of
Okay.
Sanity at gmail.com.
Okay, Andrew writes, why did Rob move to Alabama?
Oh boy. I guess this one's coming in hot. I was very big underachiever in high school and had
And
good
all the
SAT.
underachievers have to go to Alabama. That's
Well,
how it
I
works in
had
our
good
nation.
SATs, but I had a bad GPA, like a abysmal GPA. And I applied. I wanted to go somewhere warmer, so I applied down the southeast at schools that had a reputation for getting low GPAs in, and that was one of them.
Wait,
Which I
what
do
school?
love.
Which school?
University of Alabama,
Okay.
And then you just
which I
liked
do
it.
love. I still work there, so like I do love that place. That's been a big positive.
So you
for
moved
me,
down
for
there,
sure.
fell in love, and then just stayed there.
And then I never left camp. I literally work in the same 2 buildings that I spent my entire college in.
So you're like Tom Green from Road Trip.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I can. Yeah.
So do all your friends from like New Jersey when they're like, so you got down to University of Alabama and you were able to like add and like do multiplication and be automatically they were like, oh my god, this person can like put numbers together. You're valedictorian.
What are you from the future?
In fairness, they're from New Jersey, so it's not exactly the scholarly place in the world either. No, they don't. You know what has helped too? The football program has, in a weird way, brought some sense of validity to that in a national presence way, not in a math way. Obviously, that doesn't solve that part of it.
Right.
But clearly, I wasn't that smart in the first place. I mean, I was not getting into a better school. So,
did you? How did you like going to University of Alabama?
I loved it. It was a great school.
Oh, yeah, I would think it would be a fun place to go to school. I don't know.
It's
Andrew
a big
writes,
party school. It's a great. The campus is phenomenal.
the Alabama, the women hot down there. The ones with teeth.
Yeah, married one of those. Yeah.
Okay. Matt, you married one with teeth.
Well, at the college level, most have teeth. Yeah.
Andrew writes, when is the south wing on Marc's house being extended to allow all the Biden voters that he wrung whilst campaigning to stay over?
So
I made calls for Biden, and the joke on our show is that I live
nice.
in some kind of gigantic mansion that has multiple wings, I guess. Yeah, that's really I have a house with 4 bedrooms, which in our show is considered a gigantic mansion.
compared to Brian,
Well, sure. Yeah.
How do you get a 4th bedroom in a house? Holy crap!
Well, my student loans, that seems like an unachievable goal. So.
I have a whole 2,000 square feet. It's crazy.
But Jay, you have a Burger King within walking distance.
That is true.
I could walk to a Burger King from here also, unfortunately. Andrew writes, how close is Jay to buying a house?
Well,
let's go look at the price of Ethereum.
Yeah, let's see. What's Ethereum up to?
It was around 600.
Closer than I was a month ago.
There you go.
Well,
what does Ethereum have to hit? So, Rob, if you don't know, Jay at some point got really into putting his life savings into crypto. It's worked out really well.
I'm up right now.
Defined really well. Up what?
Bought when it was really high, and now hoping it gets back there.
I mean,
actually, for a little, Jay actually bought it at a reasonable price. At some point, he had made a lot of money, and then he just waited till it went back down.
Oh, yeah. At one point, I was up like 20 grand, and then it crashed. Now I'm up like 5 grand now.
Okay, why don't you get out right now?
It's not going to move the chains.
Okay, but it's going to go back down. I mean, it's worthless.
I mean, according to my buddy, it's going to go up like tenfold.
His buddy has been talking about how if you just hold it long enough, we'll all be millionaires. His buddy is in like a mental institution.
He literally put in his life savings. He has 114 Ethereums.
It's a lot of Ethereums.
It's a lot of Ethereums.
I get it though. At a certain point, if you've seen it go up once, you got to just wait it out, right?
Yeah. I figure at the very worst, it's going to go back up to where it peaked before.
I mean, hasn't that money not been in your possession long enough that like it doesn't really exist in a certain way?
Kind of, yeah. And if it goes back up to where it was before, that'll give me 30 grand, which is enough for a down payment on the house.
And you get out, yeah.
So what number does have to be at? Or how much does Ethereum have to hit?
1,400.
Holy crap! That's at 600.
I mean, it
so it has to more than double.
It hit 1,400 2 years ago.
Okay.
It went from like $84 to 1,400 in like 9 months in 2017. So
that was kind of crazy.
Do you remember? I feel like at least one, if not both of you, probably listen to Howard Stern.
I'm a big Howard Stern fan.
Do you remember when the Sirius stock was like? It was at that point, not early in his contract there, but fairly early, and it was like at like 2 cents. Like it was like it had just completely bottomed out.
So
And
I
I
bought.
remember thinking, I
Oh
have
yeah.
enough. Oh, did you?
So
Oh,
I
see, this
bought
is gonna make me
no, no,
sad
no,
now.
no. I bought 1,000. I think about $1,000 I put in when it was $7
Uh-huh.
because I mean that's going to go up and like they
Yeah.
got Stern and all that. It went from $7 down to like 3 cents.
Yep.
15 years later now, the stock price is at $6. So in a 15-year investment, I'm down about $200.
I would just remember at that like literally like under 10-cent phase being like, why would I not do this? This is stupid. But being young and poor enough that putting even $1,000 into something seemed
Right.
like
See,
maniacal at that point.
what you should have done is when it went back down to 3 cents, you should have put more money in, which is what my buddy did with the Ethereum.
I
Oh,
mean,
and that's smart.
good for. I mean, he's made a huge goddamn bet
Because
So
it
like
went
he
from
put he has
$1,400 to $75, and I think that's when he bought another 100 because he only had 14 at one point.
So he is close to 70 grand in on this.
Yeah. Well, no,
Oh.
because if he bought 100 at $74, that's yeah.
7,000. Yeah.
No, no,
You
that's
said he had
75
104. You said he had 114.
That's
and the price is
7,500.
600.
He might have put in like 15,000.
Oh, so he put in 15,000. It's gone up to 60,000.
Because if he bought 100 at 74, that's 7,400.
Anyway, this math is making me
Math.
anymore.
Math.
John writes,
I just blew your mind.
which person's death has shocked you the most?
Eddie Van Halen.
Are we saying famous person?
I didn't know he was that sick.
I mean, it could be. Does the if you want to tell me about your grandmother?
Well, I mean, my dad died when I was 7, but that doesn't feel like a fun answer to really launch out there.
Probably not as shocking now either, since you're
no,
a little older.
Yeah, it's yeah.
But why don't we just do some parameters here? It has to be 2020 and it has to be someone famous. I mean, I would have said Kobe. Like that was a pretty big one. Kobe.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah,
and shocking because of the young age. Like like anyone who's old, like I don't know. Eddie Van Halen's like that. That's shocking, but like he's also what was he in his 60s, 70s,
early 60s.
Yeah, but still an age where you're like anyone dies in their 60s, you don't actually like. Oh, I assume he died from old age. You're like, hold on, the 60s are not old.
Yeah.
It was just weird.
It's not like a physical specimen like Kobe. Like it's a little different.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was so sick. Like 2 days beforehand, I was actually Googling to see if they were working on a new album. So I was pretty bummed.
I mean, I would say I to go the other way, whose lack of death has surprised me the most has been Chris Christie. How the fuck that guy lived?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I have to say, coronavirus, you can't be that tough. Suki writes, traveling plans? Question mark.
Do you know that there's a pandemic going on?
Suki's just asking, do you have traveling plans, Jay? You don't have to be like.
No, I don't have traveling plans. There's a pandemic. I was going to go to Thailand this year, but there's a pandemic.
That sucks.
So
I'm sorry, Suki.
Did you have tickets and everything?
Someone's being a jerk about your answer.
Didn't buy the tickets yet.
But you were planning it, yeah.
We had plans to go once a year because girlfriend's parents are getting older. We want to, see them regularly. But
that's pretty great having a built-in reason to have to, because it's so hard to like pull the trigger on a big trip like that. But when you have a reason where it's like, no, we just have to fucking do this, that's pretty awesome.
Well, also because I'm in love with Japan and you have to do a layover there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I was gonna ask you.
Awesome.
We're in Tokyo.
That part that's awesome.
Yeah. So
I was gonna ask if you were doing that part of the trip also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time we go, we take like 3 days to hang out there.
Oh, Jesus, that just made me 10 times as jealous.
Love Tokyo.
I mean, that's a pretty cool place to have to go to.
Yeah.
Do you, John? I'm Rob. I don't know why I call you John. Rob, do you wish instead of University of Alabama, you went to the University of Thailand? Or University of Japan?
Do I stay living there in that
Yeah,
situation?
you get to
Oh
live
yeah,
there.
yes, 100%. Yeah, no brainer. Yes.
This doesn't sound too bad. So, Rob, do you have any travel plans?
No, I will say, as bad as it sounds, down here it is a little easier to like we could theoretically get like a lake house for 4 days that is somewhere we won't see another person, and the drive is short enough we wouldn't even have to stop for like it's definitely more feasible to do that down here and not be like going to the Jersey Shore. That's gonna be a fucking shitload harder to do. But no, not right now.
But Rob, are you guys still conserving? I don't know why I
No,
remember this, but
no,
is the
I was wondering if you would remember that.
was there shitting in the woods going on or something?
There was peeing in the woods.
Peeing in the woods, yes. I knew
Yes.
something like that was going on. And there was the toilet paper, it was an issue.
Toilet paper was an issue for a short period of time, but is no longer an issue. And
Okay.
I will, the only reason I was going to give you this freebie and personally bring it up only because of Jay's stockpile of Costco toilet paper showing in his video screen.
I gotta look at that.
Another perk of doing the live show. Yeah.
But no, it never came to that. And we
Okay,
did,
good.
speaking of Amazon fucking absolute nonsense, shortly after we had that conversation, my wife, who did not hear that conversation, a bidet showed up at our house from Amazon.
Oh, that's awesome.
That you add onto your toilet.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say, you can laugh all you want. Solid purchase.
I'm not
fan.
laughing. When I went to Japan, I got to tell you, I felt unclean for like 2 months after I moved back. I'm like, I need the bidet. I need it.
Yep.
Once you go to a bidet, you can't go.
No, if I take a shit at work now, it's like I can't solve the problem. Like I have to. I would need to carry wet wipes all the time or something for that scenario because it's great.
I actually did that
fan.
when I came back from Japan. My work bag has a bag of wet wipes.
I only say that because I have that at work as well.
So you're saying
no,
it's
once
amazing.
once you go bidet, you'll enjoy being.
It's amazing.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You can get an add-on for like $40 for your toilet.
Yeah.
That puts it on there, and it's great. Now it's not as good as like the Japan, like the built-in ones are. That's a whole different level.
Do you have to dry yourself off after?
You have two choices. You can either sit there twice as long and kind of drip dry and then maybe do a little pat.
Oh God.
Which is what I do, or you can just give it a pat right away.
But I mean, you're talking like 3 sheets of toilet paper.
You don't use anything for that, right? Whereas otherwise, I got like a baseball dealing with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your wife's like knocking on the pounding on the door. Are you gonna be out in a second? My butt's drying off, lady.
Like if you bought a bidet, a roll of toilet paper would last your whole family like a month.
It lasts a long time.
Okay.
It's great. I love it.
Awesome. John writes, if you could stop one event in history, what would it be? Let's narrow it. You could stop one event in the last decade.
Decade?
Yeah, I mean, history is a
that
long
really
run.
narrowed it down.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say the buckle up for this one. I was gonna say the rigging of the 2000 election. Because I think if Gore was president, 9/11 wouldn't have happened.
Oh.
I'm going that deep. Yes. That's my answer.
You didn't think Gore was in on planning it, Mr. 9/11 truther?
No, I think Gore would have done more to stop it than Bush.
Okay. Did you think Bush was in on it? I don't even know.
I'm not saying Bush was in on it. I'm saying Bush got information that it was imminent and didn't act on that information.
Oh, okay.
Which is documented. That's not like a tinfoil hat thing.
Okay. So we don't need to argue about your tinfoil hat.
Well,
how about one event from this year? Forget decade. One event from this year you could stop.
You're just vetoing my answer?
Yeah. Well, I have it one event from this year, and it can't be the coronavirus. You can't actually stop the coronavirus.
Pretty sure the listener submitted question did not specify this year.
Okay, history. Fine, whatever. Rob, you got anything? Jay's stopping 9/11. What are you gonna do? You're gonna stop the Nets from moving to Brooklyn?
No, that seems futile.
Jay's like, I got 9/11. Okay, I just don't think the Nets should relocate.
Just don't name them the Nets at all. Just get rid of the fucking name.
You're gonna be in that conference room when they're proposing the name, and you're like, nah.
Yeah. I mean, we could stop this Holocaust thing, but this name thing is going to be a problem long term. Like, this is not good.
Holocaust is over. We still have the Nets.
Right. Yeah, they could have been the Lions. Could have been great.
Could have been the Ligers.
New Jersey Lions. That's the tough name.
Do you have anything, Mark?
Oh,
Any moment in history, Jewish, Mark, that you would like to negate?
okay, I guess I have to say the Holocaust because I'm Jew.
All right, we can move on.
I have to stop Hitler. Paul writes, will we ever see Donald Trump immortalized on a new Mount Rushmore? And he's laughing afterwards. So he's not a Trump fan.
Yeah, I'm gonna say probably not.
Well, no, I mean, like, do you think maybe the conservatives will come up with their own mount? Isn't there in Georgia like there's basically a southern
stone mountain, but I don't think it doesn't have carvings like that though, does it?
I don't know. I used to live down there. I never checked it out.
I don't think it has I think it might have like weird stuff, but not that kind of stuff.
But there's 70 million people that voted for Trump. Obviously, people are really into him. Is there a chance like Trump people like make their own Mount Rushmore for him?
You need a big mountain and a lot of resources to do that.
I mean, I think Donald Trump will have a statue somewhere in this country. I don't think that's far-fetched.
Yeah, but not a Mount Rushmore.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing significant.
I think there could be something significant. After his like fourth term in 2030, like he might really have something big. Paul writes, if you could go to one sporting event in history, which one would you go to? And just for the, I know he said history, but I'm going to say the last month.
Jesus. That's as different as that question could have been.
I'm going to give my answer first. I'm going to say I would dream to have been there the day the ball went under Bill Buckner's glove.
Ooh.
I either want to say the 73 Knicks championship game.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Or
I mean, I get that. I feel like that's the only thing about it is not like you didn't have any allegiance to them. Not. I know you're a big Knick fan, but it wasn't like you watched that team at all.
No,
I feel like
it's probably a great
kind of
moment.
Yeah.
The Miracle on Ice would have been really good too.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'd go Cubs World Series final game.
Oh yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Hey Jay, why did you pick the 73 instead of 1970?
Because did they beat the Lakers both times? I know 73 to beat the Lakers, and I just like seeing the Lakers lose. So
wait, is one of those the Willis game?
Yeah, which game was that?
But was that the final game?
I don't know if it was the final game. I just know that story.
That'd be a cool game. It was Game 7, right?
It
was Game 7 in the 70. Willis Reed stunned the Lakers by returning for Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
So they beat the Lakers
first
both
basket.
Times. Okay, I'm changing my answer to Game 7 of 1970.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool one. I mean,
that
like,
cool. Just because that story's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul writes, when a vaccine eventually becomes readily available, will you be having the injection? So I'm going to just change this question also. Are you open to getting it? And then would you be open to being one of the first sets of people getting it?
Yes, and then no.
Okay, so you is your girlfriend going to be? Your girlfriend's a nurse. And
probably going to be forced to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is she cool with that?
No.
What she's not, she's going to do it though, right?
Has to, no choice.
Yeah.
And you would not do, what if they said like they want you to do it also because she's getting it?
I mean, I'd have to be forced. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, I guess how would they just offer it up? You wouldn't just do it voluntarily?
No.
Why not, Jay? You're an anti-vaxxer?
No, I want to see. I want to see long-term effects first.
Okay, Rob, you. Are you going to do it? And would you be volunteer to be in the first group?
I'm a yes and yes on that one. I completely agree with what Jay said, but I also it's a bit of a house of cards of like, if we all feel that way, nobody's going to get it.
Yeah.
So generally how the studies work is they'll take a huge sample of people, like 10,000 people, or I'm not sure the exact sample size.
Right.
And they will give them gifts. Someone will get like the placebo, someone will get the actual the vaccine, and then they will put them out and just see who gets it, but it's by chance. They're not forcing people to actually get it. Like people have to be exposed to it to make it work. But another way of doing these trials is just to basically purposely expose people to the vaccine. That's not the vaccine, to coronavirus. So they said if you do that, you could take like 100 people and have a really good sample size, but you have to expose 100 people, actively expose them to COVID, which scientists don't feel great about doing that because obviously people actually die from that.
Right.
So there's been a movement, I forget the name of it, where you could sign up for a trial where they have purposeful exposure to the COVID virus. And I think something like a crazy amount of people, like 35,000 people have signed up for it.
Wow.
And I think in the new year, they're going to actually have one of these trials. And I was listening to a show where they actually interviewed some people who signed up for the trials. And the people who they interviewed were all basically like, none of them had like really, they didn't have kids. It wasn't like they had any family. I'm pretty sure they had parents, obviously, but like they didn't have like kids or like a wife. And they were all kind of like lonely and kind of like, I want to do my part and I don't have. So let me ask you guys, would you guys forget that? Let's just say you did not have your significant other, you did not have your kids, your wife, because obviously that makes it a little harder. Would you sign up for this kind of trial? You're obviously going to help people by doing this kind of trial because it's a much more accurate way of testing the virus, testing the vaccine.
Right. No.
No.
With my anxiety, no. Nope.
All right. I'm going to play the game the way you always do. I'm going to start adding rules after I ask the question.
Please.
Do I know that if the vaccine does work and I don't get it, that I'm immune for a certain period of time? I mean, I know that's the idea of it, but like, do I know? This isn't going to wear off for like a year. You're 100% good for a year.
You're in for this. You are. If you get the vaccine, you're good for at least. Well, you're just in a. If it works. I understand
I could get it. Like, but if I don't get it, am I clear? Because there's a positive if you're single like that. Like, and I knew I was exposed. This stopped it. And I know it's going to stop it for a year, then I'm fucking on that plane to Thailand, and then I'm going to go to Japan, then I'm going to go to, and I'm just going to fucking use cheap flights for a year and take advantage of the fact that I know I'm safe. Because there's a lot of advantages to be had right now if you don't give a shit, which is weird.
It's true.
But like, I can't fly. It's never going to be cheaper to fly to any of these places ever again, probably in our lifetime. So if I know I've gone over the hurdle of not getting it and I can just go fucking balls out at that point, I don't know, that's pretty great.
So for this, if you get COVID and recover, you're good for at least a year. The vaccine, though, they're just testing it, so they don't know if it actually works or not.
Yeah, that's
the point of a trial.
But that's the risk. Yeah.
So on the other hand, like 98% of the people are totally fine. They're going to monitor you. I mean, 98% of the people recover; they don't die.
Right.
And they're going to monitor you. They're obviously going to try to make sure you survive. If you catch it, you're going to be exposed to it. But if it's bad, they're going to try to. You're going to stay in basically. All 100 people are staying on premises, and they're monitoring them. So they're making sure, like, doing their best to make sure you don't die from this. And you obviously are helping humanity greatly by getting this, because that way. Yeah, if this works out. So, are you willing to do it? Because I think if I did not, my wife would murder me, so I couldn't do it now.
Yeah, you can't.
And the kids, obviously, but like if I did not have kids or a wife, I think I'd be up for doing it because I would think like, chances are, I mean, like maybe you take a risk, but that'd be a pretty cool. If you do it and it works out, that'd be great. And the chance to,
for sure.
And I think
I would like to think I would say yes.
Yeah, and obviously I'm not in a situation where it matters what I say, but I think I'd say yes. But Jay, you wouldn't say yes? No. John writes, will a human ever set foot on Mars?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Matt Damon.
I'm gonna say absolutely no. And I also think it's a complete waste. Why even send a human to Mars? What's the point of it?
Oh, I think there's a solid argument for why. No,
I just think it's like you're just doing it. Just like, ooh, cool, we got a man to Mars.
No, that's not, the argument would be to get somewhere further than Mars, you got to get to Mars first. And God knows this fucking place ain't gonna last forever. So we got to start making steps to getting a little further away, right?
Well, I'm not taking that. I'm taking this from Bill Maher, but who basically, to paraphrasing him, he talked about how like they're like, let's colonize the moon, let's colonize the Mars. He's like, how about we make our shitty planet habitable? How about we focus on that?
Yeah, we can't even do that. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're gonna try the moon, like it's so far from livable. Those planets, the moon
Yeah.
or the Mars. Fucking like at least try to like, make the Sahara livable or make fucking New York livable.
All right, what about this argument? Space travel's fucking cool. Like
that's the only argument I would accept.
To make a space travel movie that's shitty is almost fucking hard at this point. Like we should be doing it just because it's cool.
I will only accept the argument that like that's the best argument. If you just say to me, it's fucking cool, I'll be like, that's your best argument. It's not a bad argument. Nothing else, because you could send. I'm not saying we should explore Mars with like robots, but we can do that, and we have the rovers. There's no issue doing that. Getting a person there, it's such a bigger ordeal. It's such a pointless ordeal, except for the fact that it's fucking cool.
That should have been Trump's pitch for Space Force. Space armies are fucking cool.
Hey, you know what is sad? This is probably the case with you also. That you know what's really sad for the time that we grew up in versus now is this Space Force thing is like a running joke with my kids. Like the name, obviously everything about it. But like NASA was fucking cool when we were kids. Like that. Like it really sucks that space travel has become a meme to like to that generation.
Didn't help that they stole the Star Trek logo. Didn't help.
I mean, it doesn't help.
Nothing about it helped.
Yeah,
it doesn't help that it's the joke of a president who does it via Twitter, and like it's just not a serious. If Barack Obama came, no matter what you thought of Obama, if he came out with it, it would have been treated a little more seriously. He would have done it. There would have been a better presentation. There would have been like a why we're doing this.
Yeah,
everything with Trump is either you're in the cult and so you think it's amazing, or you just think it's a fucking joke because cult.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an adult and I don't really believe Space Force exists in any meaningful way, right?
I'm assuming it doesn't really exist. Yes, I'm assuming basically there's some like there's basically a door somewhere that says Space Force, and it's a closet, and there's like that's where you keep the mops for the janitor.
Well, you saw they unveiled the logos, the uniforms. The uniforms were camouflage, and I'm like, you don't need camouflage in space.
There's no fucking trees.
Yeah.
I am assuming if you tried to volunteer to join Space Force, they would tell you, "Shut the fuck up. This isn't real. Please leave us alone."
Here's your tinfoil.
But to go back to that point, you can't. I'm not even arguing whether it's a good or bad movie, but like in the same way of like climbing Mount Everest has no fucking point, but if you do it, I'm kind of like, yeah, that's fucking cool. Like The Martian, you watch that shit, and there's every part of you is like, yeah, I kind of want to be that guy. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say getting to Everest. It's also like getting to Everest. It's getting a person to Mars. It's such an insane undertaking.
Like $1 trillion. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the issue. Like it's really like the whole thing of like we can spend $1 trillion to like get people to like the Mars, or we can do this crazy thing and feed people here.
Yeah, that's fair.
That sounds like a radical liberal idea to me.
It's a fucking radical liberal idea. So my last thing I just want to bring up. So I know there are different like lockdown. Have they increased any lockdown measures by you, Rob? Have they made any steps? Like, is Alabama requiring people to like wear their mask around their chins? What are they requiring?
So, the chin diaper.
Yeah, the chin diaper.
We've had a mask mandate in pretty much every store, everything, almost the whole time, surprisingly, because a lot of the South has not. The school thing obviously shifted back to 2 days, but not. I mean, we haven't had anything in the last few weeks that's changed significantly as far as that goes.
Okay.
But so honestly, I'm in a weird way proud because Alabama usually would be at the top of the list of fuck this, we're not wearing masks, and for some reason we have not been that state this time. So good job, Mississippi, on taking over as the worst.
Would you say Mississippi? If you were going to pick any place to go where you think like no one's wearing a mask right now, would it be Mississippi?
No, you know what? You know who's really helping out our national rep is like the fucking Dakotas, that part of the world. Like that's where the real fucking the lowest common denominator is right now. We're like we're a solid like 43 right now.
Just to bring up Bill Maher again, I love his thing on the Dakota. He's like 50 million people live in California, and the Dakotas get 4 votes in the Senate. How is that 2 states?
Yeah.
So recently here, maybe a month or so ago, they really upped things in New York, and the governor came out and said that gyms must close by 10 o'clock because of the coronavirus. So I am just wondering, like, if we could just do this nationally and have all gyms in America closed by 10 p.m., would this wipe out the entire coronavirus?
Almost
Should we
immediately. Right?
should we just wait and see if this is effective before we take any other steps?
Coronavirus is only infectious between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. So it's a well-known
Yeah.
fact.
In
way,
gyms,
way
yeah.
higher
In
rates.
gyms.
Yes,
For all
I
those
guess
late night gym rats,
Mhm.
right?
they included restaurants on this and bars as well.
Mhm.
But I just thought it was just like, I don't know many gyms besides, like, I think there's a company called 24 Hour Fitness. I don't know any others that are even open past 10 p.m.
Yeah.
I mean, I never understood the time curfew. It's like
It's so stupid.
it's either effective or it's not. Like you're gonna
Right.
close a bar, you're gonna let everyone go to a bar until 10 p.m. and then say they have to leave. Like, what's the difference between 10 and 12?
Well, they say basically, just to give their argument for the bars, is that after 10 p.m., people are more likely to be drunk in the bars.
Yeah,
and,
I kind of get that.
and that's when the mask wearing really stops, when people get
yeah.
drunk.
But
In
I
my
was
experience, that adds up as long as it doesn't just become a time shift.
So, and I assume
That's what I
also,
was about
like,
to say, yeah.
around 10:30 p.m., I don't wear my mask when I'm doing my dumbbell curls anymore. I'm breathing in people's faces.
I mean,
I'm like, spot me in my bench press, and I'm not wearing a mask anymore because it's 10:02.
like when I went to Boston, they had last call at like 1:45, and so what we did is we just drank a lot heavier until 1:45 instead of like New York where it's 4.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
I feel like if you
Jay's
close
like,
at 10,
New Yorkers, let's get fucking stoned
All right.
and drunk at 8 o'clock.
Well,
Wait,
yeah, if
can
you
I
close at
can I ask
10.
a question? Do you like have you both? Again, I don't understand the differences between here and there as far as this goes, but like, have either of you eaten inside a restaurant at this point?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Um,
Same.
I-
okay.
Yeah. I've done outdoor dining.
We have to
a handful of times,
twice.
maybe-
Yeah.
maybe 4 or 5 times. But that's it basically. But yeah, I'm not
Same.
eating. You know, like I was the other day, like there's a smash burger in my town. I don't know if you guys have a smash burger, but it's like a
Yeah.
upscale's McDonald's, if you can be an upscale McDonald's.
It's like
And there
Five
are people.
Guys.
Yeah, it's like you. It's not as good as Five Guys, but you walk by and people are eating indoors in smash burger, and
Right.
you're like, is this really what you're? This is you need to take the risk to smash fucking burger.
Yeah, but you know what's worse about
This is what you're
that?
gonna die for.
And this is to me like the whole thing that's made this whole thing so fucking infuriating is how many people do you know, and I'm sure they exist there because they exist everywhere. I know people who are going out eating in restaurants 5-6 times a week
Mhm.
that haven't gotten it, nothing's fucking happened, and you're like, motherfucker, I know if I went the first fucking time I went, this
Mhm.
is gonna fucking happen to me.
Yep.
But also, like, you can go and have nothing fucking like. I just hate the uncertainty of shit. Like, I just wish I like risks where I know if I jump out of a plane, fucking good chance I'm gonna fucking die. But then there's these idiots at restaurants all the time, and they're
It's
fine. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? Maybe I'm fucking an idiot. I don't know.
so it's crazy about all this is that it's not that you're being good because you don't get it, or you're being bad because it could just be random. There's so many people
Sure.
out there who are being. My wife knows someone who, like, she was like, this person was actually really good about everything, and they decided in the fall to, like, let their, like, babysitter come back, and now they have it.
And then boom, yeah.
Yeah, and like, but they
Sucks.
were good about. They were locked down for so long. Then other people. Jay, of your guest co-hosts, would you have guessed me or Bry who would have gotten it? Because I feel like Bry would probably be the safer of the two.
I mean, it was close because Bry worked in an office where
Oh, he went
everyone
to the office. Never mind. I don't go to an office anymore,
everyone in
so.
his office was like anti-mask and
Oh, God.
like so he worked there, but he didn't get it from the office. He went to a casino and got it there. But
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Uh,
done that either. So.
but
I wouldn't have gone to a casino for sure.
dumbest
So
thing he could have done.
the dumb thing I do is that my kids will play, like, we have a nice neighborhood here, and my
Yeah.
kids will play with other kids in the neighborhood. And then we'll, like, talk to their parents, and, like,
Right.
we're all doing it outdoors. No one's going
That's what we
inside each
same.
other's houses. But, like, I've told Jay this, and Jay just thinks I am, like, he thinks I am, like, the mass spreader here.
Wait, are you going? But you're not going in houses, right?
No, we're doing
Yeah,
it.
we haven't-
I don't know how much that would even change things, because our kids are, like, sometimes are on top of the other kids, like wrestling and stuff. And
Yeah.
we try to separate them, but, like, how much you separate kids.
It's
But,
fucking hard. The
Yeah,
kicking is
it's
super
hard.
fucking
Like,
hard.
and the
Well,
kids are very physical with each other, like a very friendly
also
way.
his kids are playing with kids who have anti-masker parents.
Oh, all right, that's
No,
different.
no, there was just one kid.
That would so we
It's
have
all
like
it
a.
takes.
I hate these fucking terms.
We
that come
try to
out
we
of
try
this,
to keep
but,
them away from that one.
like we have a bubble of like 4 families where we know across the board everybody's doing what everybody's doing, where they're going, and all that kind of shit. To whatever degree you can, but like they're all people we're real close with. So like that hasn't phased us that much. But even them, like we won't let the kids go in the house. We're not going in the house. Everything's been outside. And again,
That's
we're lucky because here it's just creeping into the 40s here now. Like we have a much longer year where we can pull that off.
right. We've gotten lucky with the weather here
That's
lately,
good.
but
Yeah.
it's gonna get like pretty cold pretty fast, and so like it's gonna really start sucking. But like, we're just
Winter's gonna
our
suck.
line is in the house basically. We're just not doing that.
Yeah. That's
Um,
good. I
Yeah.
look, I honestly think that's better than 90% of the population at this point.
But you talk to so many people who are the our superintendent had a thing where basically he was telling people like we're trying to keep the schools open, blah blah blah. And he's like, you parents, you gotta stop having sleepovers with these kids. You gotta stop.
But
Like,
yeah, that blows my fucking mind.
and you're
I know
like,
people that do that.
why are people doing that? Yeah.
Yeah.
What did we learn today, guys?
We learned a lot. We learned about history. We learned about politics. I mean, this is probably the most informative podcast on the net, I would think.
Yes, the Donald Trump podcast, episode 3. Jay, are you renaming the show?
Rob, thanks for putting up with us for this long.
Thank you, Rob.
Can I tell you, I'm profoundly disappointed in myself that I came in armed with looking for any opening I could to bring up the fact that we got a VR system because I wanted to have that conversation with you, and I found no way to get it into this conversation whatsoever.
We
No
have
games at all.
We have a few minutes. Bring it up, please.
Do we have a few minutes?
I don't know. Who gives a shit?
Save it for next. Let's save it for next time.
Okay. I sorry.
You should have made up a fake listener question. Like, John from Texas.
Yeah.
asks,
Guys. Yeah. You
Rob
missed this one.
writes. Ask Rob about his VR system.
Is it a long story, or do you want to?
Tell us quickly.
No, well, have either of you guys used VR at all?
No.
I used it once. I had it was at a friend's house. I put like a headset on, and it was like a baseball game. I swung and almost took down a chandelier.
Oh God, yeah. No, there's that possibility. So we got an Oculus Quest 2, which is one of the ones where you can do it unwired, which is a big plus to me. And it was just like a geek purchase where I just couldn't stand not knowing anymore what VR was like because I didn't know anyone that had it or any of that. And I have to say, like, it is equal parts very fucking cool. Like, there's certain things. Did you ever play Super Hot? Or do you know that game? Do you know? It's yeah, it's hard to. I can't even explain. Anyway, it does, like, the immersion, even on the level that VR is at now, is fucking weird and can make you feel like it's weird how much that visual changes your mind into being convinced it's in a game. Like, where your brain, it takes 30 seconds and your brain's like, oh fuck, I'm about to fall, and your body feels like you're about to fall even though you know I'm wearing a fucking VR thing. That said,
it's that good. Like,
it is in that sense. Yeah, like it can, I guess, if you're just like a staunch, like, I'm going to go into this and just not give into it that way, you could probably like avoid most of that kind of stuff. But I've had multiple games where I had experiences where it's like oh fuck experiences, or like, oh shit, this is super weird feeling experiences where you do get carried away.
Would you say it's worth getting, or is it like the Wii?
See that? Okay, so that's the caveat on this. The time shelf on how long that lasts on any given item is really short. So like a lot of the things are like either one and done. Now the games aren't expensive. They're like $20-$25. It's way more of, it's a little bit akin to the Wii in like, it's way more fun the first few times you do it, or if you're doing it with like people who haven't done it yet, that kind of deal.
I would probably get into
is it the Oculus
lightsaber
Quest
one?
Oculus Quest 2, yeah.
I'd
Okay,
get
it's not
into
like
the
it's not insanely
lightsaber one where
expensive.
you gotta
It's
like
not.
hit the different color. It looks like
Say
you
that
have,
again, Jay.
it looks like you have actual lightsabers and you gotta hit the different
Beat
colors.
Saber is
I
awesome.
I could probably get into that.
It's super, super awesome. And even that one, like when I watched it on a commercial, I was like, oh, that's a cool game. And I bet it's fun, but I doubt it feels like you're in that space.
Mhm.
But that's the part that shocked me was like, you really fucking do feel like, if you walk, that game doesn't have it, but that game has these walls that come at you where after you cut the thing in half, you have to like dodge out of the side.
Mhm.
And your brain after a while is like, oh, fuck, I got to get over there. Like, in a way that there's no hitting sensation
Mhm.
ever, but you do like fall for it in a way that I did not expect. But it's
Just-
not it like
just-
with kids. Mark, you would definitely like get the benefit of that $300, which is not insane for what it is.
Does it
But
get you
it is
Disney?
way more of
Does
like
it get you Disney at all, or like mess with like?
there's a NASA game to bring us full uh, circle where you're on the International Space Station, and the way you move around that is like you reach your hand out, you squeeze to grab one of the like latches, and you propel yourself forward. That game made everybody in my family queasy because it feels like you're fucking floating in space, even though you're standing in a fucking room. I know this sounds like a commercial, but like
No, it doesn't
I was
sound so.
shocked how much I fell for it in my head.
Have you gone to? I don't want to. I asked you about a certain ride there. Have you gone to Disney with your
Yeah.
kids? So if you do the ride Soar? Do you remember this ride?
Yeah. Yes.
So that ride. So Jay, have you been to Disney recently? Or
No. It's been
okay,
a
so
long
they have
time.
this ride called Soar, which basically you're like. The idea is you're on a plane. Basically, you sit in an airplane type seat, and they lift you up, but you're not moving at all. There's just a giant TV screen in front of you or movie screen, and they basically have the screen to make it look like you're flying, and it throws you off so much that
does.
like I am like gripping, like I am holding, like you're not moving, but I was like holding on for like almost dear life at some points.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to my father-in-law who was like, Mark, you okay there? I'm like, I'm totally fine. But you really like as they move you, like you're flying up the mountain and flying down and flying all these like I was generally was just throwing my body off. It really was like it
And
felt
that
like I was
doesn't.
flying.
And Soren doesn't even fill your full peripheral. Like
No, it's
with
just in front
VR,
of
the
you.
fact that
Yeah.
if you were doing Soren, but you could turn to the right and see the movement and the left and behind you, like it. Our brains are kind of stupid that way in that they can buy in so easily and convince your body that's happening. And I just didn't think that was going to happen. I thought VR was going to be very like, yeah, this is cool. And I like that I can look around, but like, I get it. But I'm surprised how much you get carried away with it.
I literally had during the soaring ride had to say to myself, "This is not. Don't worry, Mark. This is not real.
You
Nothing's
look at the
happening.
chair,
Just
you're like,
I was like, yeah, I was just like, don't worry, nothing's gonna happen. You're totally fine. You're totally fine. Like, even though I know I had to just like remind myself. So, what games or what were the best games for this thing?
So Beat Saber's good, but not necessarily in that immersion way. There's a boxing game that's really fucking good where you're up so close with the people doing the fighting. And first of all, it wears you out, but it feels pretty realistic. But like, there's just a lot of that space station game. I mean, I would never have believed it would make my brain feel as if I was in like floating in 0G, but it absolutely fucking felt weird in that sense. There's like a good horror game we've played called the Manor or something, where you're just walking through. Like it is a lot of gimmicky stuff that after 20 minutes just won't cut it again.
Yeah.
But even like there's these, you've probably seen like memes or stuff about Job Simulator, which is this very cartoony thing where you're like working at a fast food stand and you could just grab shit and toss it across the room. Just the sensation of grabbing something and chucking it is like super fucking satisfying
Oh wow.
in a way that blew my if exactly what you said about Soren, how you describe that is the same way that if you played Job Simulator and you picked up your computer monitor and chucked it in the cubicle next to you, like the same feeling of like satisfaction comes out of that. It's weird. It's I've been really, again, I wouldn't say go buy it necessarily. If I have kids, is a big plus for it.
Yeah.
But or like if we weren't in a pandemic and you were gonna have parties where like you had friends you knew that would appreciate shit like that, it's worth it. But like if you just bought it as like this is me gaming by myself, I would not say to get it.
I mean, I don't think I'm gonna buy it, but you sold me on. I really want to try this. I just don't necessarily if I really like.
That's the best version. Is find a friend who has bought this and use theirs for sure.
Yeah. This sounds really cool, Jay. Are you?
But it is cool.
Would you do this?
I haven't done it. I probably won't for a while, just because I have such a backlog of games to play. I don't need to add a whole nother thing. I mean, getting PlayStation Now is like that added like 50 games to my list right away.
But
and it doesn't solve that problem either. It's like it's more like putting a miniature golf course in your backyard. You know, like it's such a different beast altogether that you have to have a reason to want to fuck around with it.
Mm-hmm.
It does look pretty cool. I would also worry about like breaking things, but I guess you don't move it. Like you just
so whatever room you're in, if you're in an open space, the first thing you do is you take the things that you hold in your hands that have the buttons on them.
Yeah.
This even blew my mind at the time. First, you take it and you bring it down to the floor, and it figures out where the floor is in relation to you. And then with the trigger, you burn like almost like you would with a lightsaber, a square in the usable space that you have around you, like a big. Well, I guess it depends how big your space is. But a rectangle. So like you have that wall behind you. You do it like a foot in front of that wall. If as you get closer and closer to the wall, once your hand gets where you burn that thing into the ground, this grid, like this Tron-like grid will appear and show your hand starting to break through this invisible wall that does not exist in your space where you go, oh shit, I'm too close to the wall. And even that is like, how the fuck is this happening?
That's cool.
Like that's awesome.
In a way, that blew my mind more than anything else because I'm like, I can move my body 3 steps to the side and this wall slowly appears. And if my body goes through it, I can see the wall open up in a way that says my arm is through this. And I'm like, how the fuck does this thing know this? It's that shit is like weirdly like almost like the craziest part of it.
Wow.
It's cool shit.
I mean, this is like really, this is not the early stages, but like 10, 15 years from now, this will be like,
it'll be insane.
Yeah.
I am now a believer. The games now are not like there's not like the promise of I'm playing Skyrim in VR and this is the fucking I'm living in this world does not exist. But like the beginnings are strong enough that like
so it'll be like Ready Player One at some point.
Yeah, I mean longer than 20 years probably, but but you know, I would believe 20 years from now there'll be a like full-on World of Warcraft level immersion thing that's still at that kind of graphic-y thing, but feels more like, okay, as that character, I can reach out, pick this sword up, bring it over here, do this kind of like because it's already at that point.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
I didn't mean to make. We did not last an hour. We didn't.
So basically, what you're saying is, in about 20 years, you'll be able to have a VR Brink of Sanity experience where you could actually be in the show.
That's true.
Yeah. You'll be like, I see Jay next to me.
That would be cool.
Move the toilet paper yourself.
I could go into this. I could cut Jay's toe hair as if I'm actually doing it.
That's a whole. We're not going to open that can of worms tonight. Rob, thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. I love it. Anytime, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rob. It's always a lot of fun having you on.
Thank you, everybody, who joined us in the chat. You can ask us whatever you want when you're in here. We'll answer anything. So, yeah, those people watching, but not a lot of talking. So, yeah, ask us whatever you want. We'll really answer anything.
Yeah, Jay, if you want Jay's bank account information, just ask him.
I've almost given away passwords on the air before. True story.
Just don't ask between 12:30 and 1:30.
Exactly.
Well, you want to know my mother's maiden name? Okay, fine.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Here's the goodbye song.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. This is the end. Say goodbye. You cannot go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl.
Goodbye, 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 everybody.
So, Rob, sorry we kept you a little bit longer than an hour.
Oh, I love it. I love coming on, man. It's super fun. Does not bother me one bit.
Good. I'm glad you had to get
Good, because we always keep you extra long, but it's always a fun show.
On the video version, when the song is playing, do they just see us staring off at nothing during the song?
Yeah,
that's-
yeah. Okay. Why not?
That hit me about halfway through. I was like, oh, God,
extra
I should
dose
probably
of
look.
awkwardness.
No, this is awesome, guys. I love anytime, man.
Good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you doing your show again?
Yeah, I think we're gonna do an episode in the next 2 weeks about the New Mutants movie, which I have yet to watch.
Okay.
But no, we're having it's the one. Not I'm not saying that you guys don't have to do anything for this because obviously you do, but like I would kill to have a more open-ended show than having to read 30 comics and take notes on them and then fucking go through. Like that's the part that I hate.
Well, that's
I like
why
the
I'm going
recording
through
part.
your show so slow. I'm still in the 150s because I'm like, oh, let's listen to an episode of Rob's show. And I'm like, oh, wait, I have to read 20 issues of.
So I know your show is built on that, but couldn't you just do some shows without, like, just do a more open-ended, like, we'll just talk a little more about comics and like things in that universe,
The problem is we just don't read comics anymore. Like honestly,
or just talk about the
we could.
or
There's
talk
some
more
like
about the action, the movies instead, like the action superhero movies.
Honestly, I feel like you guys have such a following now. You can just do a podcast like this.
that's the mistake that we made is we stuck to this rigidity and felt like we couldn't abandon it for so long that we in a weird way missed our window to make that shift. We could still make it, but we lost so many fucking like in our hiatus period,
Mhm.
our subscribers dropped so dramatically that now it's like harder to even motivate ourselves to do it in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
I feel like though, if you guys just came back and did an episode like this and didn't mention comics at all, like,
it'd be fine.
I'm in your Facebook group and they don't care. They just want to hear you guys.
That's what almost everybody tells. And I miss it. I do. Like that's why I like doing y'all show, which I've done more than my show in the past year.
That's a true story.
I mean, I would assume really, like, I mean, obviously, I'm sure people listen like the comic book stuff, but I imagine like it's like they like the personalities more than anything.
Well, it's exactly like you guys. I mean, it's the same. That's more or less what the show is. It just we stupidly stuck to a rhythm that we didn't need to for too long.
Were you
Is your
faking
your
it for a
co-host
while?
in like the does he feel the same way, or like does he want to do more of the like stick to the format, or was he more open to like being free flowing?
I don't know that it was either of us. I think at times we both thought both things, and we just I don't know. We had such we were so early in, and we had such a I don't want to say rigid format, but it was more than most comic shows. It had a format, and I think we were overly proud of that in a way that we made a mistake by not pulling off of that some.
Were you at any point faking your like for the comics? Because I'm in like the 150s and I'll read like 12 of the comics and I'll like 2 of them. And then
Are you saying the 150s of X-Men or 150s of our show?
of your episode of your show?
Oh, it
By
was
the
shit.
way, Jay's a hardcore fan of your show. If you don't know that,
It was shit. No, I know I mean, he's been around forever. He's one of our oldest.
I was on one of his episodes.
Yeah,
It's
it's God. What year was that?
That's got to be 10 years ago now, right?
At least, yeah.
I think it's more because I don't remember you actually doing that, Jay. So I think it's before
Even before
I knew you.
What year did y'all start?
2008.
Okay, so you're a few years after. Yeah, we were 2006.
Yeah, I was chicken
I
parm.
think it was.
Yeah,
I feel like
I
you've been
remember
talking.
that. That's why I laugh every time you bring it up.
Yeah, Jay, I feel like you've been talking about this for so long that it had to be either right around when I first knew you or before then.
Well, you were big on the forum too. I mean, that was the bigger.
Right.
The forum was a huge part of that too.
I say that because the last one I listened to was like maybe 153, and I liked maybe like 2 out of the 14 comics.
No, there was a lot of
But
Though I
but
don't
then I
know.
listen
I
and
don't
you
know if I.
guys are like, I like, 8 of them. And I'm like, really? Did you really like 8 of
You
them?
know what? You know what? Some of that is too. Like some of it becomes relative after a while. Like when we were recording regularly, some of the shit was so fucking bad that when you got to stuff that was like a 3 out of 10, you're like, I didn't hate this, and you just lose all sense of. And there is, I will say, to some degree, there is like, we got to a point after episode 100 where it's like, does anyone want to just listen to us hate every fucking comic we read? Like, you would look for anything you liked in a way to not just be like the most bitter X-Men hater known to
Yeah,
man.
no, that's true. Because I guess, like, if I was
Like
one
you
of
with
the
the
co-hosts,
Knicks,
I
I'm
would
sure
have
you
been
have
like,
I was
to.
gonna say that sounds like our Nick show. Yeah.
yeah, no, because if I was one of the guests for like, one of the ones in the 150s, I would have been like 8 passes, and everyone would have hated me. And like,
It just gets it gets hard to even like have that conversation after a while. And sometimes you would find like if there was a reason enough for me to like something that I knew Brian would hate, sometimes I would lean into that. But I don't know that it was like super calculated as much as it just sort of the same way that you guys will like not fake it, you'll
no, we
extend an
fake.
argument just for the sake of,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of have to.
I mean, we were way more positive on the Knicks free agent signings than I think we really felt.
In real,
Um,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I would
because
agree with that.
you can't say they're going to go 4-17, even though we all know they're going to go 4-17. You got to at least feign optimism until they do go 4-17.
Yeah, or it
Yeah.
just becomes too depressing for sure.
Yeah, then it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, for sure.
But they will go 4-17.
They're bad.
But that's good. That's what you want. You don't want them good this year.
So, but I was gonna say, why don't you? I guess you like, would you if you said to your co-host, hey, why don't we just do like we'll talk some comics, we'll talk maybe the movies, but we'll just have like a free flowing, just fun conversation. Would he be up for doing shows again?
Yeah, I think both of us would, but again, sometimes it's just like, I don't know. At that point, we had hit a. So you guys have you done it straight through the entire way, or have you had lapses?
We had lapses. There was one year we took like 8 months off or something. Like,
I mean, this is all. I think we also. I mean, I guess for you also, it's not like it's just a hobby of like, hey, it's
Same.
fun to talk. It's fun to talk to Jay. It's fun to talk to Brian who comes on. It's just the Nick one has become less fun. It was fun and now it's less fun. But like this
That's
one's
how
always
ours
fun
got.
because This one's always fun because we're just talking about random stuff and having fun. The Nick one, it sometimes becomes an obligation because the team is such a disaster.
What got tricky for me, and this would fall more under your wheel. Jay, you edit every time, right?
no, I just throw it up now. Fuck.
Oh,
that.
you just see that would my job fucked me a little bit on this too, because after a certain point, I'm like, I do this shit all day with video. Then I come home, I record this, and then I'm overly picky about the edits. And we were doing a lot of weird shit that, we were doing songs and bullshit that was like, took just hours upon hours to do.
Yeah.
And I just got to the point where it's like, I don't want to fucking, if it was just this, that's why I like coming on this, because it's like, I come on, I don't have to do shit. I just talk, and then it's out of my life after that.
Yeah.
Having to wake up the next morning, edit it, get it up fast so that, for no fucking good reason whatsoever. That was the part that just became like, oh, I don't want to fucking record tonight because now I have to do this.
I would say do something like this. Don't edit shit
And just chuck it. Yeah.
or maybe throw in a
what's
couple
the
retro
difference?
reviews at the end.
Yeah. That's kind of that's what we're talking about doing for this next one. So we'll see. I would like to get back. I do miss it in that sense. And honestly, me and Brian not talking in real life, like we don't talk now just at all because we don't do the show.
Right.
So it's not like it like just went back to us talking. The show was us at that point. So
because if you just do retro reviews, you don't have to worry about taking 3 months off between episodes because it's
because it doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's just the order at that point.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the natural. There's the new ones are such garbage. I have no desire to fucking read 20.
I'm guessing it keeps getting worse and worse. I mean,
comics are.
Yeah. I only listen to an episode.
I don't read this shit, but why is it so much worse? What about it makes it so much worse?
I don't. What do you think, Jay?
Lack of creativity in storylines. Maybe they just don't have as good writers.
To me, it feels like the good writers all know that like comics are just screenplays now for movies. And
Yeah.
if you're good enough, you're just going to do an independent that you think you can turn into something that's going to make you a shit. Like if you're just some shitty X-Men writer, maybe you'll get some good ones who just want to do it because they grew up as fans as kids, but they're not going to do it for long, and you're not going to have any consistency whatsoever. So why do it?
To me, the constant reboots killed it.
Me too. The numbering, I can almost date it to that point of like, once you killed the original numbering, you told me you don't care about this that way anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
So Mark, they had, back in the day, you had like X-Men 500 to 550, or not 550, but and then they started renumbering it, but it would be the same name. So you had X-Men, Uncanny X-Men 500, but
Volume
then they
2.
would, and then Uncanny X-Men 1, but then they would only get up to like 12 again, and then it'd be Uncanny X-Men 1 again. So now there's like 5 Uncanny X-Men 1s.
I think it's past 5 at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's
so like
7.
You literally, if you wanted to start reading now, you would need to figure out a guide instead of just like, oh, I want
Instead
to
of
read
going in
X-Men.
order. Yeah.
Yeah. What's X-Men? Oh, they're up to 700. We'll just do that.
I
But then,
agree. I think that was a huge.
but then they
huge
keep
part of
going 1 through 12, 1 through 12, 1 through 12. But when they get up to like 100, they'll go back to the original numbering. So then all of a sudden there'll be X-Men 600, and then it'll restart again and go back to 1, because they want to sell as many ones and as many like hundreds as they can.
Yeah.
So it's
That sounds awful.
It's confusing
It's
as hell.
not great.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I can see that being pretty bad.
And like every kind and sometimes they change names. Like Thor went from like Thor to the Mighty Thor to the Ultimate Thor, and then back to Thor again. So like, but then going back to the original numbering. So like, you literally need a guide to like read that. It's dumb. It's really bad.
It's very dumb.
It's getting late.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you,
forgot
everybody.
you guys
who
are East
joined
Coast
us.
too.
I'm gonna close.
Well,
the
this was
video.
awesome, guys. Seriously, anytime. I'm always.